said Armored Core. I hardly know a core. Ah, shit. That's nothing. Oh, no. I panicked. I'm so sorry.
The thing about like Armored Core being the hot shit is there's so many just funny memes around for it right now. I was going through, I was like, I want something Armored Core related. And there's like 4 or 5 just in your Discord, Will.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I think it's just the ones I keep seeing everywhere are all the just the skins. Not the skins, but like, you know, the colours and everything, and people making their own custom stuff.
Yeah, the
really
what was
good
it?
ones.
The Nintendo Death Cube.
That's a really good one. Yeah, Nintendo
Cube
Death
was
Cube.
good.
That slaps.
I went on the.
There
you go.
I saw there was the like Pickle Rick face on it, and I turned myself Armored Core.
Damn.
I went when I finished it, I thought, okay, I finished the game now. I'll go on the subreddit and find some discussions. What are people thinking about it? And it's all just people making the most elaborate art you've ever seen in the decal editor. It reminds me of what is it like? Is it Forza Horizon?
Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
Like you play it and they're like, it's a £60 open world racing game with this amazing soundtrack, incredible music, incredible set pieces. There's a bit where you drive a warthog from Halo and there's pelicans and you're on the Halo ring. And then it's like, this is incredible. This is like the perfect like racing arcade game. 80% of the player base spends 900 hours a month making shitpost decals.
It's just a really elaborate MS Paint. Basically.
It is. It's insane. Like, I mean, like that was it Black Ops 2? Where the multiplayer, they were like, oh, you can make your custom emblems, and everyone was like, oh, well, fuck. All right, well, that's the next 2 weeks of my life gone.
Yeah.
Imagine spending so much time as like a programmer on one of those games, making the most elaborate driving systems possible, and then the only thing everyone talks about are like anime girls in bikinis as decals on cars. You're like, for fuck's sake, put my life into this game for 4 years.
Look, I made my Lamborghini into a Happy Meal. It's like, oh god.
I spent so long stopping cars from falling through the floor and clipping through terrain, and all anyone could talk about is the fucking woman from Chainsaw Man on the side of a Fiat 500.
200 hours drawing tarmac textures, and this is all anyone's talking about.
Isn't your Discord server picture still your Domino's Pizza 3-wheeler?
My Domino's Pizza Roland Robin. Yeah.
I didn't want to ask about it because I've been here for like 2 years now, and I was like, I don't know what. I thought this was like a Fortnite shit post. Like it looks like a Fortnite loading screen. I was like, what's going on in here?
It's that one. No, there was like 2 Forza streams, right?
No, just the one Forza stream.
Just the one. We just felt like 2.
What was it? We just put like a jet engine in a Reliant Robin and painted it like the Domino's van, and then we were like, "What happens if we send a Reliant Robin down a highway at 400 miles an hour or whatever?"
I love.
That was a great stream.
I do love all your hunt stuff, Will, but I do think that one Forza stream produced more hilarious content for me than you've produced in anything else.
I always think back to the one Battlefield 2042 stream that I did.
Oh man, yeah.
With the getting hit by the helicopter. We watched the little robot dog commit suicide by jumping off a building. It was like I don't think I've ever been that funny before or since.
Peaked too early.
Awesome. Yeah.
Peak 2 months into streaming. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
No, the Forza stream, the Battlefield stream. Oh, and when we played a little bit of Rainbow Six Extraction, that was all really funny stuff as well.
Oh, I forgot we streamed that. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say when we played Redfall, and I was like, that was funny, but in like a punching down way. I was like, this is come on.
I don't feel good about it, but
yeah. It's funny. We were like
Sniper Elite stream.
Oh yeah!
Oh, that one was good. Yeah,
I forgot about that. We played the entirety of Sniper Elite co-op.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious. And then you made a video of the
you did the invasions,
50,
right?
50 invasions, 100
invasion kills. Yeah.
That was insane.
To the theme of what's the song called? I can hear it in my head, but it's
the William Tell Overture.
That's the one.
No, was it? Oh, sorry, I can't remember. I always remember that one was the first. I've been playing, uploading hunt videos for ages, and it was all fine, and YouTube was good with it. And then it's like out of the blue, I upload this 2-minute music video of people basically exploding. And YouTube's like, what the fuck, man? We're not monetizing this. What are you on about?
YouTube just like, has your account been hacked? It's just posting gore all of a sudden.
What's
Like,
this weird snuff film you've uploaded?
Like, hey, how did you get rid of the live leak watermark in the corner? How'd you do that? It's crazy.
it's unregistered Hypercam 2 of just heads exploding.
Oh my god, the 009 sound system. Hey guys, welcome to my live leak tutorial.
Oh, that's so funny. Bring back Sniper Elite, make a new one. It's only been like a year, I think, but I'm ready for more. Wasn't there like a whole mission about like shooting Hitler or something?
There always is.
They always,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
always
they
add
always
that
put one
after,
in.
yeah.
It's
Like their one trump card. it's their ace.
This will bring him back for the 5th time. How are you doing anyway, Blunt? Welcome to the stream. We haven't had you here in a very long
Hello.
time.
Yeah, last time we were here, we were like, well, Activision's going to put a furry skin in their game. And now COD's looking better than ever.
Yeah.
I'm good. I am very well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
Overjoyed to be
I
here.
remember last time you were here, we were talking about Stray. That was the new hot shit when you were here last time.
Oh,
Christ,
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that
Oh
specifically.
my god.
It feels like ages ago now.
That
yeah.
was ages ago.
Yeah, I'll try. Let's work it out. How long do you reckon it was? If I find a page for this, I'm just curious now.
Stray. It's
Yeah,
from
Stray.
sometime in the 90s, I imagine.
July
It feels
2022 is when Stray.
Oh.
Was it that long ago?
So we're
A year
well
and a
over a
month.
year. Damn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because this is what's this?
Damn.
This is episode 82 now, I think. Which I'm still shocked it's lasted this long. Most elaborate, like long-lasting joke ever. We should probably stop at some point, I feel.
You should do a live recording of one of these on top of a building in New York, and then that'll be it.
That's the last one. No, yeah, let's do our intro, and then we can start finding out what we've been playing and all the new stuff that's been happening. So, hello everybody, welcome back to the Game FourCast, our weekly gaming podcast where we all get together and chat about, like I just said, what we've been playing and all the new news. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks, and I'm here with Oliver Meister Will,
Hello.
Sammeh,
Hello.
and the lovely Bluntcast.
Hello. That's me.
That's you. So I'm gonna, you're our special guest here today. I'm gonna kick it straight off to you. Is there anything, anything cool you've been playing you want to talk about, Mr. Bluntcast?
Yeah, so I'm obviously, unsurprisingly, a little bit addicted to RuneScape. But the other thing that I've been playing, I have not played Baldur's Gate or Armored Core
Yeah.
because I was like, I feel like they've been covered enough.
Oh no, there'll be more Armored Core, don't you
There'll
worry.
be more, don't you?
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been playing a game called Sprawl, which is it's a first-person shooter. It's just come out.
That's Scrawl or
It's-
Sprawl?
Sprawl.
Sprawl.
Sprawl. It is a very, very interesting, very challenging movement shooter, which is absolutely my thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
You've got Josh on board.
Yeah, I was going
already.
to say, like,
it's,
straight away, yeah.
It's a wall running based shooter where you're relying on using slow-mo to basically do most of your damage, but there's a really, really cool roster of weapons, a pretty neat roster of enemies, great music, very sort of Akira
Yeah.
music, and sort of mixed between Akira and like breakcore. And like I started playing it and I was like, oh, this is quite difficult. And then I was like, okay, I'm just bad. All right, never mind, I got it now. I figured it out. But the movement really reminds me of, and I hate to compare it because it nothing will compare, but like it comes pretty close. It reminds me of Titanfall.
Oh,
in
yeah.
that the movement is really slick. You like crouch sliding and wall running, and
That's a dangerous comparison.
it is a dangerous comparison because again, it's not as good, it's not as polished, but it's great. And there's some like really impressive platforming
Yeah.
and area exploration. There's some bits where it's a little bit weaker. There's a couple of areas where it puts you in like sort of industrial corridor sections, and it's like, oh, just get through this, and you're like, oh, all right, fine. I'll walk for a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
But then they're like, oh, you're in a weapons testing area, and there's like a minigun in the middle of the room. And they're like, oh, okay, here we go. And you just get in there, and it just feels so good.
It kind of
It
reminds
is-
me. I didn't play it, but there's a game. Is it Ghost Runner, where you're like the ninja that jumps around and does
Yes.
all the
Yeah.
wall jumping and
It's
everything?
kind of got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. I feel like I've not played.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it's just sort of popped up. It kind of just showed up on my radar. And I
Yeah.
watched the trailer and I heard the soundtrack and I was like, yeah, this is like, I think this was like made in a lab for me.
Yeah, the game
I
that's
feel
made
like
for
this
you.
is- Yeah, it's like the Amagara fault. This hole was made for me. This is exactly the game I should be playing.
It's always great when a game like that comes around where, like you say, it's like someone just taps into your brain. It's like, this is a
Yeah.
game for, Blunt or Josh. I had something very similar with Neon White when I played that.
Oh,
I was
Neon
like, this
White
game is
absolutely
just
slaps.
Yeah, this game is just perfect. Like, I fucking love this game. Jesus Christ, it's so good. And yeah, the whole like movement shooting is a very underrated genre, I feel like.
Yeah. And it's the sort of gimmick of this, apart from the sort of movement and aesthetic, is that basically all of the combat is revolving around using slow-mo. So it kind of has that fear
Yeah.
aspect. That's so
I was
the
gonna say
screenshot that's on
fear.
the screen.
Yeah.
It says adrenaline at the bottom, and that bar, whenever you hold down right mouse button, instantly, as long as you're holding it, you're in slow-mo and the meter ticks
Oh,
down.
the slow-mo button.
Killing enemies gives you more slow-mo back, and you kind of just so it's constantly about pushing forward and getting through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, really satisfying. There is a bug right now. I played a little bit. I played through a bit of the end of the second act yesterday. There is a bug where every time you die or start a level, when it says press any key to continue and you press it, it plays like an absolutely deafening sound of like all of your equipment loading in.
That's like a shit
It's like a
post. That's
source
deliberate.
bug. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
as you press the button, it's like the loudest sound ever. Windows volume mixer has no idea where it's coming from. You cannot turn it
That's
down.
so funny.
It's so fucking annoying. I can't, like, every single time I forget that it's about to happen. Like I'm in the middle of a fight and I die and I'm like, oh, okay, go again. And then I just get my eardrums blown out and I'm like, oh, come on, man.
There was
Yeah,
there was
it's not-
something I played recently. I can't remember for the life of me what it was, but it was a game where the startup of the game, where it shows, developer and publisher and stuff, that part of the game was just immune to volume control.
Yeah.
in the game.
Oh,
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, I
because
can't-
I had that recently as well. Yeah,
And every
yeah.
time you
the
start
developer
every time I
hearing
start a
this-
game, it's just like the
Don't do that.
loudest fucking noise. I
if
can't
your
remember
game
what it
does
was.
that, I'm immediately putting a negative review on Steam. Just don't do it. What is wrong with you? How have we not evolved beyond that as a society? That little bit where you show your developer name, make that silent. No one cares. Just
Yeah.
like that should make absolutely no noise, and that's final.
Oh, so have you finished this game? You just working your way through it?
No, I'm still plugging away on it. It's honestly surprisingly long for what it is.
Yeah.
But so that's been my go-to, and yeah, I've been plugging away at that, like, on top of some other recurring games that have been taking up my time. So a little bit of DBD and some RuneScape here and there in between sessions of this.
Have you
Yeah, it's great.
tried Alien in DBD?
I have.
Oh, I played some today. That dude is strong. Don't know how you found it.
I rocked up. I was like, okay, right. First off, get the Steam sale.
Yeah.
The pack. Get the Xenomorph. Get Ellen Ripley. Then went in and had some Oryx cells, and I was like, okay, well, I'll buy the Queen skin. So I got the Alien Queen skin.
She's massive. She's enormous.
Oh my god, what is going on with this character? This is insane. Like, I feel like I used to really have a go at League about this.
Yeah.
Of like, it's got to the point where you look at like the Xenomorph's description of their special ability, and then you look at the Trapper, and the Trapper he puts down bear traps, and the Xenomorph is like 800 words of like, you go through tunnels, and each of these tunnels has a sensor, and you can see the footprints. And then if you jump out, you can also stab people with your tail, but only if you're in crawler mode. You get crawler mode, but you get crawler mode faster in the tunnels than you do on the surface. And it's like, what is happening here?
Yeah,
This
those
kit
guys
is
have like
so
no
overtuned.
restraint, do they? Those guys have no chill.
I feel like you could
Every
literally
killer has to be more
you
complicated.
could hide a bunch of the shit with the xenomorph that pads out all the words and literally just have a description that says the xenomorph is medium difficulty. You go through a tunnel, you get crawler mode, and you can stab people. That's all. That's what you need to know to be successful with the xenomorph. Because even like Trapper and Wraith and all these other ones that have really simple descriptions also have like minute things that make them better or trickier to play. But I feel like they're not like in all the descriptions. And I feel like they need someone to proofread all these descriptions and be like, this shit is... Condense it. Like, it's too long.
The tail swipe, sort of the special attack that you can charge up when you're crawling. You can do like an overhead stab with the tail.
Yeah.
That is absolutely bananas and drives me insane as someone who used to play a lot of Nemesis.
Yes.
Like the tentacle strike. It's like, okay, it's in a straight line, and if you hit them, they get infected. This xenomorph tail stab is like, okay, it's like 500 feet in front of you, and it goes over terrain. It goes over pallets. It goes over tables. There's like a big, on the Nostromo map, there's a big table that everyone sits around, which is where Kane dies in the film, and there's like the body of Ash is all like webbed up and whatever. That, you can stab over that. Like, that table is huge, and you can just, I've got like 4 survivors. Yeah. Where I like they're like, there's no way you can get me across the table, and you're like, yeah, I can.
It's like a range character.
Like it should work.
It's like a range character.
It's insane.
It's like you can I've only played a little bit, but I've watched some stuff as well, and you can almost take weird, freaky angles like you would with Huntress, where you can start like
absolutely. You have to start Hail Mary.
You have to like, as a survivor, you have to treat the stabby tail almost as like a throwable projectile because the range is so fucking huge.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's absolutely mad.
I mean, it's gorgeous, and the Nostromo map is perfect, and the Xenomorph looks incredible. The Xenomorph Queen skin is worth every penny. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Like, when you spawn in and the Xenomorph's all curled up and it like unfurls and stands. It's perfect. It's actually perfect, and I'm so glad. Absolutely so glad that they've got her in.
Do you think that this will sort of incentivize them to go back and change some of their old licensed killers who maybe don't look? Because the one I always think of is Pinhead, and the way he kind of just awkwardly waddles after you. And I always think like, he's like mechanically he's there, but just like animation and kind of the way he moves and stuff is just like, I don't know, it feels really like a first pass almost at this point.
I don't know if they'll go back and change older ones, but I think that certainly for me, this sets a bar of expectation for like future ones, which is really weird because the previous 2 killers, being the Singularity and the Skull Merchant, haven't been amazing. Singularity was okay. The Skull Merchant was arguably one of the worst they've ever made. To now follow it up so quickly with, I think this is one of the best. This is up there. Maybe not like in the future when it all bounces out, might not be the best killer in the game, but just in terms of actual execution, dedication to the package.
Whole package of like how it looks, how it plays, the map, slam dunk.
Yeah, there's something that's like playing against the Xenomorph. It's given me something in DBD which I didn't realize I wanted to see more of, which are just monsters that run at you on all fours. Because it's just, that is actually kind of scary. Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like, Trapper, whatever, man with a blade, waddling towards you.
Yeah.
But then, when you're doing a gen, or you're watching one of these hidey holes, and suddenly just a literal fucking monster starts climbing out and then running at you at all fours, it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the Dredge as well, is like something about just a locker opening and just like this black smoke with limbs climbing. It's like, oh my god, that's not just a guy. What is that?
Yeah,
more monsters.
as much as I love Wesker, it is like Wesker starts running at you, and you're like, "Oh, time to run away from
shit,
Matt."
it's
It looks
Greg
a bit
from
silly.
accounting.
Yeah,
Oh,
it does.
fuck.
It looks silly, doesn't it? Like a grown ass man just chasing another guy
Especially
down.
like Wesker's run animation where he's like absolutely hauling ass. He's like
Yeah.
throwing his arms back and forward. It's like, oh my god, that dude is.
Well, Skull
It was
Merchant again
intense.
is still like the worst for that. I feel in terms of like being taken out of it because she's just a woman that runs at you with a blade, and then when she downs you, like you're this massive grown ass
Yeah.
man survivor. She just picks you up and chucks you on her shoulder and walks off. This tiny little woman like running around.
I do feel like that the Skull Merchant was a predator killer,
Yeah,
and they were just like, whatever.
Well,
And just kind of
yeah.
binned it off.
We'll never know for sure, but I do, and it used to be the Predator. That's my proper headcanon. And you cannot convince me otherwise that it was a Predator.
It just makes sense.
Yeah,
It does, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, I know barely anything about DVD, but I'm 100% with you. Just because of the wrist blade thing, that thing's so unique.
Yeah.
Why would they just give that to some random
The
person?
wrist blade and like the weird tech that's like, oh, like they track, and it's like, okay, well, this is sounding like a predator,
Yeah.
and they're like, and it's a woman with a sparkly gas mask, and it's like, okay, well, that's not what I thought it was going to be for sure.
It's the tracking for me because obviously Predator wouldn't pick up a Game Boy and start tracking, but he'd have the gameplay of looking at his whatever his gadgets, his doodads, his mask, visor, whatever, and he'd just be tracking people across the map.
Yeah,
I think that's how it would be. But yeah, it seems like everyone is super happy with this Alien launch. But I've heard nothing but good things so far. I think at least the new player experience, he does seem incredibly strong. But I think when people start
one of
learning,
those, like,
the
pub stumpy ones though, where it's like you just need to learn a couple tricks. And
the few
you're
games
okay.
I've played, which have been pretty solid stomps, I don't see a lot of the flamethrowers, which are supposed to actively be putting down all the time.
yeah, they are definitely. I think in a group, I think you can absolutely bin off this killer completely. You can like just pick a gen and be like, right, all the turrets go on this gen. We fix this gen, and then we just rotate from generator to generator. Because at the moment, splitting up and being like, oh, we'll just be across the map. That does not work. This killer does not care where you are on the map because it can go anywhere in like 30 seconds, which is insane. And it can sense where you are, which the dredge can't do. So it's just a better dredge.
Yeah, what goes with this update as well is the new map. From what I've played so far, especially as killer, because it's a new map, people don't know a lot about it. There's quite a few dead ends in this new map that you can just get stuck. You have the big ship in the middle, and the map the outside area kind of goes around it, almost like a U shape.
Either side, it's flanked by just walls.
Yes.
So people instinctively start running, and they're like, "Don't go in the ship. I'll go the other." Oh, there's a wall.
Yeah. It feels like what's that map called? Is it Area of Crows? Like the sort of deserty, pyramidy one with the big building in the middle.
That's
The artist one, yeah.
It's like it feels kind of like that, but imagine behind the main building, there's just nothing, and you couldn't loop around the building. You had to go through the building. It's kind of like that. And like Blunt says, people they don't want to go inside the building because it's scary and it's got corridors and stuff. Rather be outside. Then they just get like pushed into a corner and killed. So, but yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this. It only came out yesterday, I think. Yeah, it was yesterday. So it's not.
It seems really cool. I need to download DVD again. I uninstalled it to make room for all of the other stuff that came out, but I need to check this out. It looks really cool.
Oh, I went on a binge on Game Pass yesterday and just downloaded everything that I want to play and everything like preloaded that's coming out. And I think I have like 30 gig left of my main hard drive. There's just so much stuff right now. It's unbelievable. Anything else you play, Blunt? Or
no, that's it for the moment.
Cool, sick. All right, we'll chuck it along to Sam then. What have you been up to, Sam?
Trying to sound like a broken record. I made another character new start in Baldur's Gate 3 for a duo playthrough this time. And RuneScape.
So
Nice.
What's going on in RuneScape then?
So originally I wanted to get 88 archaeology to do the next necromancer quest.
Yeah.
But archaeology is like it's certainly not boring, and I enjoy all the mystery stuff. Like, it actually gives you a reason to go out and get stuff. But, like, getting to level 88 takes a while,
That's
so
a
I,
long
like,
time, yeah.
procrastinated. But I started doing some of the older quests. I think I'm currently in 2009. And then, like, I did a few too many of those, so I, like, procrastinated by doing diaries.
Oh, so
Because
that's why
each-
you were doing them. You weren't like trying to get the rewards. You were just straight up procrastinating.
Yeah. Like each location has these like achievements you can do, and then if you do enough, if you do certain ones, you can complete easy, medium, hard,
Yeah.
and elite tasks, and it unlocks a bit of gear which upgrades as you complete harder diaries. And I'm at the point now where I need to do Lumbridge, and then I've done the easy, medium, and hard diary for every zone that I can.
Yeah. That's
I'm
not
just-
that's a lot of stuff as well. That's not a short amount of achievements.
No, that's like 7 zones. I think I've got 7 zones worth of gear.
Yeah.
The only thing I need to do is I need to kill 450 bosses in some tower, and then I get the desert one sorted. And the Elflands stat requirements, because that's a higher level zone. It's just got higher requirements, and that I just don't meet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just doing that, and now that's come to an end. And I also there's this daily obelisk thing you can do in Menethos,
Yeah.
and if you do it, it's like the fast way to get rep with Menethos. And there's 3 quests that are rep locked, so I've got enough that I'm no longer rep blocked for those quests once I finally get to them.
What is it? It's like
Eventually.
Crocodile Tears.
Crocodile Tears, Man in the North, Fight Club.
Fight Club's the one. Fight Club's the one towards the end of the rep tree, right?
Yeah, you need 9 out of 10, and that's the one I just unlocked. So,
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I did that, and now I kind of like, I either go back to quests or go back to archaeology. My archaeology is like 77, so it's doing good.
Yeah.
But it's like... it's just one of those things where once you get really high level in a stat, you do now have to play the grind game. There is no way to cheese out a couple of levels.
Yeah.
You gotta play the game.
RuneScape 3,
And-
after playing so much old school, RuneScape 3 in
Yeah.
particular, you absolutely fly through those early levels, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and
even in old school, you get to 50, right? And then you start to feel the grind. In
Yeah.
RuneScape 3, it feels like you can get to about level 80, and then you start to feel the grind.
Yeah. No,
But no,
yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I killed more bosses as well. I went bossing.
Very
to
nice.
take a
What'd you
break
do?
from doing tasks.
what was you done?
Right. So I was gearing up to do Queen Black Dragon. That's my next big goal. But
There's
I've
a
done...
Queen Black Dragon?
Yeah.
There's you do the you've done the songs from the depths quest.
Yeah, I've done
You
that. I've
will
got the. I
encounter
mean, you need
them.
60 summoning, which is like nothing in the grand scheme of things. But I've got a Black Dragon Slayer task, and I'm like, how hard do I commit here?
You know what you have to do,
But-
Sam.
we'll hold. But yeah, so I've been killing Cowfight Queen quite regularly.
we did
I
we did
killed-
some together, didn't we? Which one did we do?
Oh, yeah, we went and did Grador.
Yeah, we did Grador together for what I want to say like 75 KC.
Yeah,
Nice.
80, yeah, it was like 83. We turned up, and getting the kill count to get into the room
Yeah, for God Wars.
was not harder, but used more food than Grador himself, which we
believe
weren't expecting. I was expecting it,
Yeah,
maybe I overestimated it too much, but I went in with full Guthans, Josh was in full Bandos, and we kind of just wrecked his face.
you were just standing there. We had it on the
but it was
maximum,
fun.
the smallest respawn timer. We were
Yeah.
just
Yeah, you
slapping
had them on
him.
fast. Yeah.
You kill him, and then you're like, oh, we dunked on that guy. You're killing the minions, and he spawns again, and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm not ready.
I'm still picking up. I'm still picking up loot.
Yeah,
Josh
that's it.
got
That's
like
always
all the
way I do
drops.
No, it's bullshit. No, I didn't.
we were talking as well, like drops in this game. You go on the wiki and they're like 1 in 500, and we're like, okay, we've killed 83. Josh has got
I've got like 4 bits of loot.
Yeah, 4 1 in 500 drops. I've got 3 1 in 500 drops, and we've killed him 83 times. And those drops from those 83 get split between us.
Yeah.
So it's not like we've got 2 lots of 83.
Hmm.
It's 83 split between the two of us.
The
So we were like,
the maths is broken
we
here
just walk
somewhere.
in and just like he just got naked and dropped all his gear for us, or like.
I hope you
what-
know that you're going to be going dry for 400 kills with no drops later on.
yeah, yeah.
You're going to
Although-
like hit a wall and you're
I
going to
mean,
be like, well,
Hermod
there it
was
goes.
already doing that to me. 47 kills it took me to get my first plate off that guy.
Oh, I got my first plate. I think it was my third kill. So I've just started. So I finally. So I've done. What is it? 10. Hang on. I can check this. I've done 10 kills of Hermod. I finally got the quests out of the way. I did Ghost Ahoy,
Yes.
did all of that. I was like, right, Hermod, let's go. So I've had 3 plates in 10 kills, which is pretty good going. 'Cause
There's the door.
I think people are saying it's like, you know,
It's supposed to be
anecdotally,
1 in
people
10.
on Reddit are like, yeah, so people are saying 1 in 10, and then I've seen people on Reddit being like, so I've got 735 kills and no pet, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this guy 735 times.
Yeah.
But like,
You got to
I
kill
love,
him a
I
lot
love it.
though to get plates. Like I need to get another 30 plates for my gear. I think. I don't know. I was trying to do the math, but necromancy was the thing I was leveling, but I went and procrastinated.
It's seeing people's success posts on social media of getting drops, especially in old school, where all the new Desert Treasure bosses came out, and people posting like, "Hell
The Blood
yeah,
Dwarven gear.
1000 KC finally got my ring," and I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to do that."
And that's the thing. Like, what is it? Is it Golden Reaper, which is the one where it's like get the boss pet from every boss.
Yeah,
And
insane.
it's like that's really cool. Like that's amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to commit to that. That is like that's incredible and like massive props to anyone who does that.
it's
I don't know how I feel about going for that. I think we recently got our first ever hardcore Iron Man to achieve that.
Jesus.
So someone has got every boss pet without dying 3 times ever.
That's insane. That's actually
Apparently
insane.
they were on
Insane.
Apparently they were on their last life, so they died twice, which like even on a boss you know really well,
Yeah,
that
It
is
can
like
happen.
heart in mouth. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
slightest mistake here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I've just started doing Hermod. So I was in tier 60 gear, never really done bossing before. Like KBD, all due respect, love KBD. Basically just a sponge. You pray magic and you just click once and then that's
Yeah.
it. It's kind of over. So I was like, okay, well let's try Hermod out. I got skill checked so hard right out the gate. I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I am way out of my league here. But I eventually figured it out. But it was like actually like one of the most fun things I've done in the
Yeah.
game so far, of going from like, I think my first kill was 7 minutes 42 down to 3.5 minutes in tier 60 gear. So now I've got tier 70. I've got the special attack. I've got extra damage coming in. I'm gonna hopefully bring my time down even more. But going from not being able to dodge a single hit and just constantly cramming food in to not die, to being like,
Yeah.
I know exactly when you're going to summon your conjures. I know exactly when you're going to do a big slam and basically
Oh.
doing no damage, taking no damage.
Feeling the timing of
amazing.
those summons feels so good. Like
The
when you
first
hit him with
fight.
the big blast and you're like,
Yes.
you're about to summon him. I know you are, and I'm fucking ready.
Yeah, so like the first fight, I used Death Skulls, which is the ultimate ability. When you get 100% adrenaline, it bounces between you and the target, and it deals loads of damage. I cast that just as he summoned, and so he was immune the whole time, and it did no damage. And that was the worst feeling ever. And then, like the next few fights, I've got Threads of Fate hotkeyed, and I had full necrosis stacks, and I was like, right. And as soon as I saw him doing the summoning, like he just lifts his hand up to summon, I was like, right, Threads of Fate is on. The moment these guys appear, they are dead. And
I'm in your head.
Amazing. I was like, I read you like a damn book, you sucker. Like, I haven't felt that level of like investment and like being that gripped by a game and like feeling that satisfaction of learning a boss since I started, like when I used to play League, being
I
like,
was
oh
gonna
my
say,
god, I get it.
it sounds like you guys are like describing, like mastering a character in League, or like a boss in Dark Souls or something.
Yeah,
It is that
really does
level of
feel like
learning.
Yeah. To me, it tickles like some weird part of my brain that almost is sort of tied to speed running as well, where obviously you want to do this boss as quickly as possible, so you learn tactics, you do it more and more, and without kind of thinking about it, you are learning how to speedrun this boss in your own way.
Absolutely. It's really, really cool seeing the community. Like I love, so we have some committed accounts where we see like tweets about boss kill records, and so sometimes there'll be a record of like this boss kill recorded by this person, like Hermod kill 28 seconds, and I'm like, what? What? And then I watch it and I'm like, oh my god. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He's not lying. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there it is. That wasn't that long, was it? Okay, cool. And so the community has kind of made it that's become like their thing. Well, not the community. The community is massive, and so there's these like niche groups of PVMers, clue chasers, and people who are obsessed with things like area tasks, like Sam mentioned earlier. And seeing those boss kill times is insane. But these people have spent years, decades, a decade at least, getting to grips with this system and understanding its nuances, understanding its quirks, and just completely crushing it. And it's a little bit intimidating, but very inspirational at the same time to be like, oh my god, I could do that one day eventually. Like, it won't be that clean. I'll probably be screaming for quite a lot of it, but I mean, hey, that could be.
I did what's it called? I killed Jad.
Jad
kill.
Damn.
And that was like, doing all the waves was so easy that it like mind gamed me. So I actually died on my first Jad attempt, because I come up against Jad and he spawns healers, and I'm like, right, I gotta pick up all these healers, this will be nothing. And you miss one prayer flick, and he hits you for 8k, and then the panic sets in, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna eat, but I can't afford to miss another one, and I've also got to get all these healers, because if they heal him up to full, he's gonna spawn more healers when I get him low again. And then he just hit me with 2 back to back, and I was like, right, I'm doing this again. And the second that guy spawns, we're just going to focus up and we're going to do this. And then all you've got to do is go pray ranged, pray magic, based on what animation he does. And I have the strat of, if you just have pray ranged on all the time, because the magic attack seems to have a really long animation. So he like steps on his back 2 legs and then takes ages and then throws the fireball, and the fireball has to travel. So like, you just pray range and then you just swap to magic when that fireball comes, and I didn't take a single point of damage. It was clean the second time. I was pissed I died the first time, and then pissed again when I killed him the second time, because it was so easy. I shouldn't have died the first time.
It takes a while. How long has it taken RuneScape 3 to get through?
Took me 52 minutes.
52 minutes. Is there an Inferno in RuneScape 3?
There is an equivalent, yes.
Right, okay.
I need to trade in the cape, because that's how you get the Tazar capes, which are like, they're not best in slot, but if you do the hard mode, those are best in slot.
Yeah. It's weird, because I'm still just working my way through RuneScape 3, but 90% of my knowledge is still entirely old school based, and that carries me through most of it, because most of the time it's the same or incredibly similar. But every time something pops up, I'm like, is this in both? Is this not in both? What is this unique? I know that in old school, I can't remember how you do it, but there's a way to fight. It's either 3 or 5 Jads at the same time, and it's just absolutely insane, because you have to change your prayer almost like every tick, and watch the animations of like what Sam was describing, but 5 of them in a circle around you. It's just absolutely insane. But some people have done it, which is just mad. But yeah,
it's good shit. It's good shit.
I'm still slowly working through quests in timeline order. I'm getting there slowly.
Yeah, so you're doing timeline order, and I looked at timeline order, and I don't know how I feel about timeline.
It's kind of weird because as I go through all these quests, sometimes it feels almost random, where it's like I get that there's a timeline, but I'm here, then I'm doing something different, now I'm doing something different. Occasionally, you'll get sort of 2 or 3 in a row that do lead off each other, which is really cool. But the issue with, I think, the way it's doing this is they're in timeline order, but they're also in a way that you can do them one after the other. And with some of the quests, the story will have, say, 4 quests. And 3 of them you'll be able to do. And then the 4th quest that wraps up, released 10 years after and has insane requirements.
Yeah.
So it can't naturally lead on anyway. So I think, looking back at it, I'm in too deep now. Like, I'm doing it timeline. That's just how I'm doing
just
it.
swap to release date. It's easy.
Yeah, but I guess, yeah. I might.
The
I might
thing
do
is,
that.
as well, is it is a little bit. It's not jarring, but like some of the old quests, you do them, and then you do a fresher quest, and it's like it might have voice acting, or it's it's
I've
like,
done.
you need to stun this guy. It's like stuns.
yeah.
So you go, Blunt.
I did Murder Mystery, which is 2003, and then a couple of quests later, you do Shadow over Ashdale, which is 2014. Same timeline. They're both in the Pathfinder bracket.
Yeah.
But one is 11 years later than the other one. So one has way better animations, has cutscenes and like voices. And it's like, what? How are these are the same category? Are we sure?
I did one that always stands out to me that I did not too long ago, just because of how jarring it was again, I did some quests, can't remember what they were, but one's from like mid to late 2000s and 2010s, sorry. So they got like voice acting and actual like camera movement cutscenes and stuff. And then I went and did, I think it was like Observatory Tower or something like that. It was called the Observatory, I think.
Yeah,
and
Observatory quest.
It is the most simple quest where you go in a few rooms and put some cogs in some things, and then you get like a really janky cutscene where the camera moves again like in a really jank motion. It's in an instanced area that is like, that whole area is about 20 by 20 tiles, so it's just a void of nothing, like right in front of the camera as it spins around. It's just like, it's not bad, it's just so old.
Yeah, like the requirements for Observatory Quest are 3 wooden planks, a bronze bar, and some molten glass. And it's like, I get that at the time that was like a thing. You had to go out and you get the planks yourself. You cut the wood, you refine them into planks. You smelt the bronze. Like you do all of that. But like, I must have like 800 bronze bars in my inventory. And like, I'm just sitting on thousands of planks. I'm like, I just have that. So I just show up with the stuff and they're like, oh, help me, adventurer. You have it. Thanks. Okay. And I'm like, yeah. Let me just, cool. Yeah, thank you. Cool.
There's
bye.
other quests as well where in old school, the item requirements will be like half an inventory's worth of stuff. But in RuneScape 3, it's like half the inventory. And it's the same quest, but because half the stuff is now kept on your tool belt, instead of you have to carry a knife on you or a chisel or just like some random item that you just don't need or you already have.
A pickaxe.
Yeah, and that makes everything a lot easier in RuneScape
quests
3.
where it's like, oh yeah, you need a shovel, but not the one on your tool belt. They like put it in brackets. They're like, not that one. Come back with another. You need to get a second shovel. And I'm like, I don't remember where I got this one, so I have to go to like a general store. And I'm like, do you sell shovels? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, I'll come back then.
And it's because it's so because it's so niche and no one needs it anymore. You're like, fine. You go to the Grand Exchange, like 1 shovel, please. They're like, cool. That'd be 50 grand. You're like. I just want
Someone's
one shovel.
making a killing just buying shovels for like 4 GP from one shop, and then they're like,
I got to the point now where when I was doing the diaries and I was going to like, it takes you around the place, right? I went into every fucking shop, and I was like, right, I want 50 rope, I want 50
I've
pots,
done that as
50
well.
buckets.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, if I need rope, I got like 1,000 in the bank. All right, I am not short on rope. I've had enough.
I was doing I think it is Ghosts Ahoy, where you have to take a toy ship and dye the sails.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the quest guide I was reading, just like items, it says get, a dye of each colour just to be safe. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. The dyes go for like, some of them go for like 60, 70 grand. And then you look it up, like, I know it's not like a lot, but it's just like for a simple dye. And then I look it up, and how do you make this dye? It's like, take 2 onions to this lady, and she'll make it for 5 gold. And I was like, there's a money maker here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a lot of the conversations of like, basically just like the Discord and the subreddit is just people being like, what's the best GP per hour? And people like literally just like make potions because people just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
So like if you've got like 80 herb lore, make Saradomin brews and just sell them. Just like or like unfinished Harlanders. Just cut a corner for someone else and they'll pay you to do it.
Yeah. Because it was a couple of weeks ago we were talking about, it might have been the Necromancy update, and we were talking about it, and it's like RuneScape is like a world of Jeff Bezos's where they just like, I don't care. Like, money means nothing to me at this point.
It's a banana, like, Michael. What could it cost?
Exactly.
$10?
Yeah. It's like just bring me some herbs. How much they cost? I don't know. Here's 10 million. Come back with some herbs. I don't care.
I think I said I made 100 mil in like 2 hours. It wasn't the release day. It was the second day. I was making all the stuff, and I was like, I may as well just sell it and like do necromancy in a week time and buy all the stuff I sold, but for like a fraction of the price.
Well, so I was getting these dyes for this quest, and to make a yellow dye, which is what I needed, it takes 2 onions and 5 GP. The onions literally grow in a field next to the witch in Draenor that makes the dye. So I just, whilst I was there, made my own dye that I needed and got a full inventory of onions, took it to her, and just made these dyes. I made like 750k in like 5 seconds of just picking onions whilst I was there. It's crazy. Because I'm still relatively new. I don't have tons of money in this game.
Yeah.
Plus, she's got a bank right next to her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy. Because I feel like a lot of stuff like that doesn't exist in old school. I think old school is botted, I think, a lot more than RuneScape 3.
You can take the I think out.
Okay, yeah.
We know how bad the botting
I feel like,
is
in old school, I feel like people complain a lot about the botting, but also these people that are complaining do also realize at the same time that is what is sustaining the economy of that game.
If you want to buy or sell anything on old school, it buys or sells immediately.
Yes,
no questions asked.
That's the biggest change coming from old school to RuneScape 3, which we said on the previous podcast, where I go to buy something, it doesn't buy for its price. I think, okay, that's fine. I'll crank it up to like 500% times the price. I just want it for whatever it costs. Still doesn't buy. Keep cranking it, it's not buying, and you get to a weird point where you realize like no one is selling the item that I want right now, unless I put in something stupid like 500 mil, and someone's got like a gag price of selling it for that price.
I had that when I was doing the herb lore for the necromancy update, and I'd always get to like loggerheads where I'm like, well, I've invested all in this one type of potion, and it's all just sat there, and no one's buying it. But if they don't buy it, I'm out of money. I'm bankrupt myself. I can't carry on until someone buys my anti-fire 3 potions or whatever.
This is where my story ends. No one bought mine.
I guess I'm gonna go do something else now. Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, so I'm still.
Yeah, RuneScape's a great time.
Yeah, I killed the giant mole the other day. Don't want to brag.
Oh, nice.
Nice, Grants.
Got a little cheeky 5kc. I was pretty happy with that.
With necromancy, by any chance?
No, I was just trying just melee. My necromancy is really low. It's only like 50 or something. I was doing necromancy, and then I got a bit fed up of doing rituals, so I was like, I'm just gonna kind of use it how I'm supposed to, and I went around just doing quests with
just go and
combat
kill stuff
using
with it,
necromancy, and that's where I'm at right now. So, oh no, that's to tell a lie. I have done something else. I finally finished Foreign 3 up to the point that I can do, which is I think I'm 75 construction, which is basically everything tier 2, the Grove tier 3.
Yes.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I did it all basically Iron Man. Like, I went out and cut all the logs myself, and just it's such a chill thing to do. Just wood cutting and making planks.
Is that why you unlocked Menaphos? To get the Acadia trees, so you could do.
Oh no! At the time, I didn't have it. At the time, I needed the Acadia stuff. I was cutting down the 2 random trees in the corner of the map, and I had no clue there was like I hadn't done Menaphos yet, so I'm cutting down these trees, and the game's like, we can't give you rep. I'm like, fam, I have no clue what you're talking about. I just want logs. Oh, you're wasting rep. You're not getting rep for Menaphos. I don't care. Just give me the logs and I'll leave. But yeah, RuneScape good. Still, like, just chipping away at. So
We've got our I'm gonna put my marketing cap on. Got an absolutely banging update coming out on Monday. We've got the Hero Pass. We've binned off Yak Track, which was our old sort of goofy reward system that had like an exponential grind. Like every level you went up, it got harder
I
to
never
do.
got past like stage 3. I would get to like the third one, and that was it.
I think I hit tier 40 doing what the track told me to do, and I was like, okay, that I'm not going to crunch for this, so I just didn't get it. And like I was like, okay, oh well. But this one is 120 levels of rewards.
Yeah.
But the first 100 levels don't scale. They're always the same amount of progress.
Oh, it really done my head in other battle passes when it feels like you're absolutely sailing through, and then it just becomes unbearably like just grindy towards the end. I think a lot of people got burnt out of a lot of stuff in the past from stuff like that. I didn't do Yak Track. I missed that in RuneScape.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely fine. I think a lot of people either didn't or were just like, because there were quite a few of them. I think they were sort of consistently timed, so it was like by the end of it, there was a bit of a meme of like, okay, after every DXP, there's a Yak Track. So just like, if you don't like this one, wait for the next DXP because it's going to be coming. And like, it's like, it was kind of, it wasn't guaranteed, but it kind of was. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. We're better off just making a system that is always on. And you just always earn progress towards it regardless, rather than making like I don't know, just a whole mess of a system. So I was like, okay, well, let's just make something a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more sensible, and that just the cosmetics that are out are coming out look amazing, and it's just I'm really excited about it.
How long does this Hero Pass last? What's the duration of this?
It's 3 months.
3 months. That's a long year.
Every it's always on, and we just refresh it every 3 months. So
it's seasonal then. I guess you would say like a seasonal.
It is literally seasonal.
Yeah,
as in it starts. This one will run through autumn, and then the next one is for winter, etc. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Some really, really cool stuff in there. And because it's the first one, we're kind of just figuring it out. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just constantly fishing for feedback and trying to figure stuff out, and we'll figure it out.
Flying by the seat of your pants.
Pretty much. But it's looking really cool. It's a really cool idea, and I just want it to get better every time, and we'll hopefully get it to a point where it's like not only a seamlessly integrated part of the game, but also like has stuff that people are like, oh my god, yeah, absolutely want that every time. But we'll see.
You just iterate over time, don't you? And you release it, get feedback, improve it, and it's just that cycle just never really ends, does it? Really?
Yeah, that's the dream.
When does that come out?
That is out on the 4th of September, so Monday, I believe.
Oh, that's really soon.
If I've done my maths right. Yeah, it's been sort of bubbling away for a while now.
Yeah, ticking away.
But now we've got it looking sharp, and we're ready to share it. So feeling good about it.
Yeah. I'll have a look at that on Monday. I mean, RuneScape for me is basically a daily thing at this point, whether I can help it or not. So I'll have a look at that.
For sure.
Cool. I think are we tied up with RuneScape? I'll just be going around in circles with timeline quests shenanigans. Otherwise,
Yeah.
all right. We'll throw it along. Will, I think I know what you're going to be talking
Hello.
about.
Yes, I played Armored Core. I finished Armored Core. I bought it on Friday and I finished it on Sunday, and it's not a long game.
I was about to say, is that
I think
good for an Armored Core game?
I've no context.
I have basically no frame of reference. I'm one of those people. You know how I thought it was really funny when they announced Armored Core 6, and it's like so many people were like, "Yes, Armored Core." That's so glad that series is coming back, and it's like, where were all you people?
Where
you
have all
hiding
these
for
people been?
the last 20 years?
Those same people, I feel like, were like, "Oh, I never played it."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But thank God it's back.
Armored Core's back. I've never touched this game before. Yeah,
I know exactly where those people have been. They've been playing Mech Warrior online in a darkened room,
They've been playing that
listening to like
that Gundam Overwatch game.
yeah, and listening to that.
yeah.
Oh, what's it called?
Wait, I
Is it
played
Neo Tokyo? Was that the Half-Life 2 mod that was like?
That's too deep for me, dude.
What the
It's
fuck?
so
I've played
deep.
that. I've played that. That's deep, but I've been there.
That's a deep cut.
I know. Yeah, Neo Tokyo. That was it. Yeah. It was a Half-Life 2 mod that was like really cyberpunk.
Yeah, it was like there was like
everyone-
split between the like shooter and the hacking, right? I remember
Yeah,
that.
everyone I know who's ever been into mechs also for some reason was really into Neo Tokyo. Like, that Venn diagram is a pancake.
Fuck, I'm
Every
in
single
this,
person.
and I don't like it.
We got his ass. We got him.
I've never heard of this. Anyway,
it was one of those source-looking games. Yeah. Anyway, that was a good. I think it was funny. There was a lot of like discussion about whether or not this was Armored Souls, right? Before, I feel like I was booting up my YouTube every day, and I would have a new video from like Vati Vidya or Ouroboros or whoever it is saying this is or is not a Souls-like. If you like Souls, you will like or not like this, etc. And I think it's like it's kind of somewhere in the middle for me, where it's obviously not Souls, but I do get a lot of the same like feelings sometimes when I'm playing Armored Core 6.
For me, it's really
the bosses.
it's really binary for me in that it's
Yeah.
not a Souls game until you get to a boss, and I'm like, okay, this feels familiar now.
Yeah,
I think it's just in the way that you're in an arena. It's typically one-on-one for a boss fight, health bars, dramatic music, this, that, and the other, and it feels very FromSoft.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I'm about the same. Is that like, it's like very mission based. It's very quick, but it's weird. Everything's very quick and responsive, but you still have some weight to all these machines. I think a big worry for me was like, it's not really a mech game, is it? It's like Sekiro. Everyone's cosplaying a mech sort of thing. All these do have a lot of heft to them. And I don't know, and it feels really, really good to play. I think one of the things I was thinking late game in some of the later game boss fights was like, I had this big problem near the end of Elden Ring where I felt like I was fighting bosses from a different game, where it was asking me to for a level of agility from my character that just I was like, I cannot pull off dodging all these moves and getting hits in when there's like a fraction of a second opening or something. And it's like you can feel it in some of the bosses here where they demand so much from you and such like quick reactions, but because you are also in a flying death machine, it's like I have the tools to deal with it this time around. Like there's a boss late game which is very reminiscent of what's the one everyone got stuck on in Elden Ring? The sword Millennia. It is like that again, but I was like, but this time, you know, I've got the tools now. I'm gonna put this fucking boss through the ringer, and it was
it's
so yeah.
It's the coolest part of this game
getting
is
chopped up. You
Yeah.
can just be a tank. You're like, no, I'm just gonna become like an eight-barreled anti-aircraft artillery position.
Exactly.
So
For me,
dodge that.
that's the coolest part of this game is the core loop is almost designed around the fact that most bosses tend to have one specific hard counter or one thing that works really effective. You can cheese the whole game and play as a tank that just decimates everything. But if you push that aside, normally it's like, oh, this boss has a lot of shields or something, so you can use pulse weaponry or like laser weaponry to bring down the shield and then use something else to really go ham on it. And the game between deaths allows you to go back into your garage and change your mech.
Yeah.
And as long as you have the parts, you can literally go into a mission, die, and then go back into the checkpoint a completely different robot.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I think that's one of those things where like that's kind of not my beef with like Elden Ring. Like Elden Ring's the least egregious of the FromSoft games for doing this, but being able to be like, okay, well, I've kind of spent the last like 10 hours specking into this build, and this build absolutely sucks ass against this guy. So now, what do I do?
Yeah, how do I respec?
Okay.
I go finish this quest that requires 10 obscure NPCs to talk to, and they'll let you respec. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just just the antithesis of fun. Whereas that being like, okay, I'm gonna try as a flying swordsman. That didn't work. All right, death cube, cool.
Yeah, and you always have the gun tank to fall back on if you're just like, I'm so fucking done with this boss. Let me just load up the dual Gatling gun tank.
That was how I got through the filtering boss, which is the first boss of. It's not the first boss of the game, but it's the first one that people tend to get stuck on. Which is, I tried tons of different things, and some stuff would be more effective than others. So sometimes I get really close. Sometimes I like die, rebuild, try this. Okay, this build is ass. This gun is horrible. Like this goes in the bin. But eventually, there's a build that a lot of people tend to be fall back on, which is it's tank tread legs, which just immediately give you, I think, like twice as much health just by having those.
Yeah.
And it lets you hold more stuff, gives you more weight capacity, so you can then put on the thickest body, the thickest head, the thickest arms, the biggest weapons, and you just ram your robot face into whatever boss you're struggling with and kill it in 2 seconds. And that's... I played the game, I would experiment throughout all the missions, because the missions, for the most part, are not easy, but they're not hard. You can take a random gun and normally find success. But it's the bosses that can be really tricky, especially the Millennia one Will was talking about. That's the boss where when people are talking about the hard boss that everyone gets stuck on, you get one guy in the comments like, "Oh, wait till you get the Chapter 4 boss. That one, that one's way hard." And it's like that's the next block for a lot of people.
It's funny though because you're right, but I feel like. For me and a bunch of other people that I've talked to about the game is you're quite limited in your options at the start.
Yes.
So the first boss is kind of a wall just because you don't have as many tools to deal with it. But by the time you get late game, I think the late game, especially the end of the game bosses are like technically way more difficult, but you have so many more bits and pieces to play around with by that point. You can like tailor build the boss killing mech just for that one fight.
Yeah, it's like going back to the tank. At the start of the game, you have the tank treads, but towards the end, it's like, right, you got the tank tread. Do you want the weird, almost alien-looking tank tread? Do you want the wheelchair set up? That sounds like a joke, but I think the description for the things, the treads, say they're designed and based on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Which is
Bravo Miyazaki.
Yeah.
Do you guys play? Do you guys do the claw meme? Do you play like buttons facing towards the screen with like both?
Oh no!
Was that Armored Core?
Keyboard and mouse.
That's the Armored Core.
That's Armored Core.
The origin of.
I didn't.
I know that's crazy.
I didn't know that. I know about that meme, but I didn't know that was the origin.
I've known about that for years, but I was like, because I think there was a first person shooter that used to have like. People would play claw, but then there's also Armored Core style, which is just you just flip the controller 180. Yeah, so you just play it with the buttons facing the screen. So
I put
Oh, so it's all
like-
fingers instead of thumbs. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
I put
I
them in
was
this.
always like,
I put
is
them in the
that
same category as the Smash Bros. GameCube players that like have the weird claw set up on the GameCube controller. I always just put that all to one side as the weird controller setups. I had no idea that was originally Armored Core. That's crazy. Yeah, really, really fun game. Now, how are you finding the story, Will, compared to your traditional kind of From Software story experience? I really like this.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good. I'm not a huge fan of the way. I love the way FromSoft world builds. I'm less a fan of how, like the Elden Ring quests, where it's like if you don't find this guy based on a very cryptic clue that he gives you in this giant world, he's just going to disappear from your game forever, and that's quest over, sort of thing. And this one is like way more straightforward.
It's more
you're
linear.
basically
Yeah,
you're basically like a merc, and you're deployed to this one planet where they found what's it called, Coral, which is this like energy source that was really good, but then blew up at one point, and now you're sort of in the ruins of this world.
What is it? It blew up, and then everyone died and or left, and then at some point in the future, it starts coming back. So about 6, 7, 8 different PMC military groups all sniffing, and they all want to get it all at the same time.
Yeah. There's like a someone's caught a whiff of this coral on this planet, and you are now tasked to help all these different mercenary groups and government entities. And there's locals as well. There's a bit of like a Dune vibe of like the locals of this planet are like, what the fuck? We just want to live, and you keep blowing up our planet. Could you fucking stop?
Yeah, because some people want to steal the coral for just like monetary gain. Other people want to protect it. Other people just want, like you say, it's just want to destroy it. Like fuck the coral. We're going to blow it up again.
and you get hints early on that there's like slightly more going on with this substance than is like, it's not just an energy source. There's something weird going on with it.
Yeah, very early on, I think that is, isn't it? It's like in the first hour or two.
Yeah,
you start getting like, maybe it's not just space petrol. Maybe.
Why is this space petrol talking to me? That's weird. Anyway, but yeah, I kind of like it. I like how it's basically, because it's all like, like you said, like PMCs and big corporations own everything and stuff. It's fun. Everyone in this world is like ruthlessly practical to where you will be doing missions for all the fact. You never make like a choice until much later in the game. You never make like hard choices until much later in the game. And they're always like, you will go and like fuck up one PMC's base, and then they'll be like contacting you after and saying like, damn, you're really good at blowing things up. Could you do that for us instead of against us? And I really like that part of the story, even if it's kind of silly in places, but it's
like you actively blow up a bunch of dudes' soldiers. And in the next mission, he's like, well, you were pretty good at blowing up my soldiers. I'm going to hire you for a bit. And now
because you blow up this other guy's soldiers.
Feels like it's like somewhere between, like, I feel like FromSoft fans are probably going to be screeching if they hear me say this, but this sounds like it's more along the lines of like a Metal Gear / Ace Combat story.
It's very Ace Combat,
I was going to say, I don't know if any of you have played Ace Combat. Ace Combat 7 fucks, except for the PNG of the dog in that one cutscene. Everything else about that game absolutely smacks. Like I have not had that much fun with a game in a long time. Ace Combat 7 was just amazing. And then I was like, oh, there's kind of nothing else like it. Like I was like, oh, maybe I should go back and play the old Ace Combats, and there's like a PS1 game, and I'm like, oh, nah, I'm just gonna stick with it. But I feel like I might have to pick this up.
Well,
it's kind of in the same vein.
Well, there was something that this game did that I didn't really like at the start, but I think towards the end it almost kind of started like growing on me in a weird way, which is all characterization. Again, going back to like you were saying, Ace Combat and Metal Gear, all characterization is done essentially through voice lines in this game.
I was gonna say,
you never see a human person in this game ever.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single human in this game. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's no humans. Your character is portrayed as an augmented human with the ability to control armored cores because you're augmented. But what that basically means, if you really like narrow it down, it's just that you are the mech. Essentially, like people will talk to the mech, and that is you.
Yeah.
All dialogue and cutscenes. I'd say like a good 70% of them in this game are just logos talking to each other.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of very early, like Metal Gear Solid 1 codec calls.
Yeah, where it's just PNGs of people.
Yeah, where it was people talking to each other, but it was just, like you say, it was like a single PNG, basically, of a person's face that moves a little bit, and that's the cutscene. It's very reminiscent of that. At the start, I found it quite hard, because I found it quite tricky to kind of remember who was who, especially when it's like, this person you've been talking to is now in this mission helping you, and they're this robot, and I'm like, I can't, like, who is that? I cannot remember who that is.
And because everybody keeps switching sides and is either with you or against you, depending on the mission, it's like really hard. Because sometimes you'll be like, oh wait, I thought this guy was an asshole. Never mind, he's pretty chill.
And
he's my best buddy.
There's also, what also doesn't help is there's a whole subset of different characters that are all called V number, then a name.
Yeah.
So there's like there's I think like 4 important characters that are all called like V12, V4, V2. It's like, oh god, who is who? I cannot remember anymore. Jesus Christ. But towards the end, when it started, again, I won't spoil the ending, but when it started kind of finding a bit more focus, and it started reining it in a bit, like this is what is happening, this is what you're doing. The game really started to shine. I think this game for me ended so strong. I think it's one of my favorite FromSoft endings. Like just boss,
really
story.
Damn.
Yeah, you got a different ending to me.
Yeah, because that's the other thing is this game has like it's mission based, but it has the typical FromSoft, like near the end of the game you start making decisions and you can have drastically different endings and even ending boss fights depending on the choices you make.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah. So me and Josh were both like, yeah, ending was great, right? Wasn't it cool when X did this? And it was like, hold on, I didn't even fight that. What are you talking about? I didn't even fight that guy.
There's one bit where I was like, oh, what did you think of X character? And then you were like, oh yeah, I love that fight. Yeah, I was like, no, you killed them. Because there's like 2 main decisions that I think we made that are the same in every playthrough, and the first one's not too heavy. I was talking to Will, and we was like, I'll go for this one, you go for that one. We'll see what's different. And it was like, oh okay, that's fine, you know. And then the second decision, I said, I'm going for this one, you know. Do you want to go for the other one? I think you just replied like, you monster. Like how the hell can you make that decision?
Because I hadn't got there yet. I remember you said and you have another decision coming up, and I picked the top option or something. Yeah. And I got to that point, and I was like, I read the top option, and I was like, what the fuck, bro? What the hell, man?
How could you do that?
But then that spun off into completely different endings.
My ending, just the actual fight itself, the location, the music, it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. I'll remember that for a while. I don't think this isn't my favorite game of the year by a massive stretch, but I do think this game is so unique that I will remember it for a very long time. It's just one of those games,
and it plays so well. I think it doesn't come across in footage just how like
it's so smooth.
How smooth the combat like plays out. Yeah, there's like all the clunkiness of Dark Souls. It's like that was never an engine thing or a technical thing. It's just like, no, that was a choice, and now that choice is gone, and you play as this like fucking lightning fast just death machine. And it's in some of the missions where it's not you, it's like you're against like just not like a huge boss monstrosity mech or something, where it's just you against another dude. It's like you start to feel bad because you are just like tearing through all these robots, and like
around,
sometimes they'll just be like sending you messages just like, how can he do this? Like, and you're like, oh god, I don't feel good about this.
I think one of the earliest missions, like the second or third mission, where you're still learning the game, the mission is just like Walter Handler being like, yeah, go kill these robots. You're like, okay, and you just start shooting, and he's like, oh no, I'm new, I'm a student, no, I don't want to die. It's like, oh my god.
Even in the first mission, they're like, well, there wasn't supposed to be any enemy ACs out here, and you're just like ripping their squad apart with like a laser
Yeah,
sword.
you're just like
So
you're
ridiculous.
Sub-Zero ripping his head and spine out of his like mech. It's like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And then Handler Walter, I keep forgetting his name, Walter Handler, whatever. He's just like, yeah, good job. Try to blank out all the horrific noises you've just heard.
Yeah, I think it's so cool. It's such a fun game, and it's still got that from like I'm just excited to see what is around the next corner every single time. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
yeah.
every time a boss pops up, I'm just like, that's the coolest fucking thing I've seen all day, and it's like the third one of those.
Even that the big bosses, or even when it's just like, here's a dude who's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Raven, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, you're the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, we're about to like anime down right here. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it does spectacle boss fights really well too, where I feel like in some of the other From Souls games, they'll have like an idea for a big set piece fight. I think the big giant in Elden Ring is one where it's like, oh, you're fighting a guy the size of a skyscraper, right? But it's like all that means for Elden Ring is like, I'm just gonna hack at his ankle and just sort of whenever it twitches, I'm gonna dodge on reaction because he's about to flatten me with a building-sized like sword or something. And it's like it's cool, but it's not really a fun fight. And this is like because you're so much more mobile and you've got you're just so much faster. It's like so much easier to have these really, really big spectacle fights that aren't really like technically very difficult, but just watching them is like half the fun.
Yeah, you get to boost around at really high speeds, and like all the motion blur and sort of depth of field kicks in. It's all like a blurry mess, but it's like, oh god, I'm going so fast. It's just playing this specifically is just really sort of sunk in for me, where I'm not craving mech games. I'm not going to go out now and play obscure Gundam JRPGs, but when this genre is done really well, it's really something special, I think.
Yeah, I really hope this instigates more investigation into like, can we make like, because it's the Pacific Rim thing, right? Where like Pacific Rim came out and everyone was like, holy shit, mechs are so back. And then they made Pacific Rim 2 and it was like nothing like the first one. Everyone was like, okay, not like that. No. Too far. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if this will kickstart a new mech renaissance, but it's certainly, it's like in the future, From Software making Armored Core 7. It's like fucking day one instantly, and I'll be excited the entire like marketing lead up. It's always like, From Software making a Souls-like game like Elden Ring or something. Where it's like, it's not going to be bad because they've made so many Souls games. So it's going to be at least really good. Whereas this, I knew it would be good, but it's like, it's kind of different. It's like a numbered sequel really far after. Like, is it like a Souls? Is it not? Is it this? Is it that? But now for me, this is also just cemented them again. Like, just any Armored Core game in the future. Just day one. Easy.
Yeah.
I think it's just From Software just can't miss, I guess.
It is nice to see them do something outside their like Souls wheelhouse. Because I don't know about you, I was kind of getting. I loved Elden Ring. I was kind of getting tired of the Souls formula by the end of Elden Ring. I was like, maybe you've pushed this to like the absolute limit, and I think I might be over this.
I had to force myself to finish Elden Ring, which is really weird because that game is great. Like, shock horror, man has opinion that Elden Ring is great, but I think just playing this, it's really solid. The first playthrough I think took me like 20-ish hours. And it does heavily incentivize New Game Plus.
Oh yeah, that's the really cool thing we haven't even mentioned is like so you're making these choices up until you finish the game. It then dumps you back to the start in the very first mission, and stuff is like different the second time through. There's a very early mission in New Game Plus. It's not really a spoiler, but there's a very early mission where you are like attacking a base with two chums, and as soon as that mission starts in New Game Plus, the game's like, some guy just emails you and is like, "Hey, if you betray those guys, if you kill them, I'll give you a bunch of money." And you're like, "All right, I guess we're seeing where this goes."
Yeah,
That's
you get like
cool.
a new HUD option that's like accept or decline mid mission. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It
Just
reminds
out of
me.
nowhere.
It's like Near Automata, or
It's very near. Yeah,
where
yeah.
you finish Near Automata the first time. It's like 12, 15 hours long or something. You get an
Yeah.
ending, you get credits. You're like, okay, and then it drops to like ending A or ending B or something, and you're like, oh, there's more. Like you are supposed to play these games multiple times. Like
yeah.
I keep saying I've finished this game because I've hit credits and got an ending, but I haven't actually finished this game. I haven't gotten the whole story yet. I know for a fact there's a ton more in this game that I just haven't reached yet, which you're working through now, I believe, Will.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through New Game Plus, and it's fun because they even hint, if you're like paying attention, playing through the second time now.
Yeah.
Even the missions that are the same, there's like you have like context for
Yes,
some of the stuff that happens. It's like the first time you play it through, something weird will happen, and you'll just chalk it up to like, it's just FromSoft being fucking weird like they normally are, right? But like playing New Game Plus, you're like, oh, I get why this guy's here in this mission. I see what's happening.
Yeah, because I remember.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where that goes.
As I was playing through it the first time, I was like, I'll be straight up. I don't really know what's going on right now.
yeah.
Some dudes like, go kill this thing, and I'm this person, and watch out for that person. I'm like, I don't actually know. Like, who are you? Have we met? Like,
yeah. And specifically, there's a load of like plot points that just they introduce and then they just go nowhere, and you're just like, well, that was weird. Anyway, let's go on to the next mission. I've got some mechs to blow up. Let's move on.
Yeah, you're like, just as soon as you start thinking about it for too long, it's like, oh, by the way, here's a new rocket launcher, and you're like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, they distract you. Yeah.
Just look at the new shinies. Don't worry about that yet. Just keep looking at the shinies. Yeah, this game fucking rules.
It's just so cool.
Yeah.
It's just you go from like just like fumbling with like the controls to just be pulling off the wildest shit. Just like within 5 or 6 hours, you're like the most hotshot mech pilot. You feel like Tom Cruise in Maverick or something.
What would you rate it out of 10 if you were to be an official reviewer? What would you give it?
I don't know, because I feel like in a normal year, this would be like a solid 9 or a 10, right? But I have just come off of like Breath of the Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate, and those were maybe like a cut above this, I think.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's like I don't think this is my game of the year, but
yeah.
Or is it? Is it my game of the year? No, I don't know. That's too early to be thinking about that.
I'll give like a solid 8.5. I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, we'll push this along, and we'll start doing some news stuff. There's a few like little news bits that are sort of interesting this week. There's a little straggler from the very end of last week that we just about missed, but I think there's possibly some good discussion here. We'll start with that one. This was about Bioware. So I think most people are aware of who Bioware is, right? Big company known for their RPGs, Mass Effect, Dragon Age. They're laying off a ton of people, which I don't know. It feels like for the longest time they've just needed a win, and it just feels like the studio is just circling the drain. I don't know whether or not that's true or not, right? But we're currently waiting for Dragon Age Dreadwolf. That's their next release. And just everything that happens with BioWare. The news is never good, I feel like, which is so sad when it comes to BioWare. Have you guys heard about this? What do you think about sort of BioWare's latest laying offs?
It's just sad.
Yeah. I mean,
it's because we were talking about Baldur's Gate a couple weeks ago, and how there's this big. Everybody's talking about how it's like raising the bar for RPGs or whatever, and it's like, but that bar used to be held up by BioWare, right? And it's like, and we just they haven't been.
Well, they stopped chasing.
They stopped
chasing. I feel like traditional CRPGs and started going more towards these actiony games because they felt like there was no market.
Yeah.
or CRPGs, which now Baldur's Gate has completely ripped the door off that genre and revealed that you can actually make insane amount of sales just by making a good version of that style.
Yeah.
Because it was like Mass Effect 2, I think, where it leaned heavy into third-person shooting, and it sold really well. Mass Effect 2 did great, I think, out of the trilogy. And it felt like ever since after then, they never went back to their roots, and they've just struggled ever since. And it's just really sad. I mean, you played Anthem, right? That was BioWare. That BioWare?
Yeah.
That was BioWare.
That was
Yeah, it
BioWare.
was.
Yeah. That was their last game.
Yeah, I feel like Dragon Age Dreadwolf might get pushed out the door just to try and find some sales or something. And then if it's not a slam dunk, I don't know what happened to BioWare, man. Just there's a scenario in my head where the new Mass Effect game just doesn't come out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. So yeah, 50 people laid off.
Sad.
It's a shame because they hold, just for me, like a lot of nostalgia in their series. It's just a shame to see them like this. But
Man, I vividly remember like the first time, like I bounced off, so I got Mass Effect 1 on Xbox.
Yeah,
As a petulant teen, and I was not feeling the pace of Mass Effect. I was like, this is weird. Like, this isn't Gears of War. What the fuck is this? Like, why can I take cover but not stomp on people? I don't get it.
yeah.
And I kind of bounced off it. And then like a year later, I went back to it, and like, it was like Easter half term, and I just spent a day, like a full day, just sat in my room, walking around the Citadel, drinking Dr. Pepper, and I was like, yo, this game actually bangs. Like, why are all these characters so well voiced? Why are all these characters so interesting and likable?
Yeah.
Why is this game so good? And like, I think it's the same reason that people hyperfixate on Fallout New Vegas as well. It's the same, right? They are these insanely charming, beautifully written, character-driven stories of like that's just, they're just held up by those experiences you have of like, you remember conversations, you remember moments. Like, I don't think, respectfully, like I've sat down and had coffee with people who worked on Anthem. I don't think anyone can remember anything that happens in Anthem. Straight up.
The robot flies. I know that.
Yeah. And they got Muse to do the trailer music, and that,
Did they really? I don't remember that. How do you remember that?
And like Neil Blomkamp directed the trailer. They were like, remember the District 9 guy? Holy fuck!
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
These fucking prawns, man.
It's like, okay, what? So what's the outcome of that? And it's like, oh, it's like a Fallout 4 mod with jetpacks. It's like, oh, okay, this sucks. This sucks, guys. This sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. My worry is that like this. I know that I'm probably not the first person to have made this assumption, but this sounds like a snap response to Baldur's Gate. And like,
you reckon, yeah.
I think this is cutting off your nose to spite your face. They are like, we can do more with less. If Baldur's Gate can do this with a group of however many people, we can get rid of some of these fucking people, and we can do the same with, like, we just get more passionate people in to do what they did, but with the BioWare brand on it. Surely that's a slam dunk, but actually, I feel like this is a conversation that has been had a lot. The reason that Baldur's Gate is as successful as it is because they got to take their time with it, and like, they were able to be like, okay, this is an early access for a while, so just bear with, and we'll get it out when it's ready, and not rush it. Whereas I can categorically tell you that there will not be a take as long as you want with EA or BioWare. That is going to be like a, right, this has got to be out for Christmas. Get this done, or else.
I can only assume it's like, what was Anthem, like 2018, 2019, something like that?
Yeah,
Around
Piece
that
of
time,
shit.
yeah.
That's what Anthem was.
Well, yeah, but what I mean is, like, we're still waiting on any.
Yeah,
We
it's
basically
been a
know nothing
while.
about Dreadwolf, and it's like, are these people just these people? Are Bioware just like we still just like, yeah, no, it's not. It's still not. We don't know what we're doing with.
Like, there's a
with
point
Dreadwolf,
where
sort of thing.
you can just like, there's a point where goodwill runs out, right?
Yeah.
Well, not that, but where like patience turns to a
Well,
loss of hope.
Concern.
Yeah, just from like a just a shareholder sort of perspective, like
Yeah, I
some
mean-
people at EA going into Bioware and being like, right, what have you got for us? And it's like, yeah, this is like still 4 or 5 years away or whatever, and it's
Yeah, it's like,
and they're
okay,
like, well, we
we're
can't
not-
just burn 5
Yeah, we're
years
just
of
gonna-
dev money.
Yeah, we're just gonna be sitting here keeping the lights on while you be like, should you be able to fuck the bear?
Yeah,
Is that too crass? Are we gonna just be obviously riffing there? Should we? Like, come on, guys, we've got to figure something out. Let's get it moving.
Always,
I mean, not to.
They-
This is like
they
not a
get-
comparison.
Yeah, like
But-
they get all the years of money, you know, or dev time, I should say, to work on something like Dragon Age or Mass Effect, and you know, work on it till it's right or whatever. Then eventually, so much time passes, you know, it's just no. People have either forgotten or it's like it's just been too long.
Yeah, I can't say I know like 3 people who are actually like, oh man, Dragon Age, I love those games. Like, I don't know many people. Like, I know more people know Mass Effect, but just generally, I'm like, oof, Dragon Age now is a hard sell
Yeah,
because it's
Yeah.
been so long.
yeah.
all the excitement I had from the
I'm-
original Mass Effect reveal, like the new game, has at this point for me, it's just gone. Like, I did have excitement,
yeah.
like, oh my god, a new Mass Effect. You know, Andromeda kind of sucked, but you know, another chance at this series again, despite all of Bioware's missteps, and that was
Yeah.
so long ago now. It's just like, oh,
I feel like
just don't
it's
care
just like
anymore.
it's going to be Halo Infinite all over again, where they're
Yeah.
like, all right, we're bringing
God.
the gang back. We got like OG chief design. We're doing the Halo 3 piano bit at the end of the trailer. Like, this, surely remember this, and then it like comes out and it's like, this cost like £2 billion.
Yeah, please
to
clap.
make.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
one wanted this, but okay, cheers.
We had leaked gameplay from Dreadwolf a while back. We covered it on the podcast at some point, and it still looked ridiculously early for what leaked. So I think Dragon Age at some point will come out. It's just whether or not it'll be literally pushed out the door before it's completely ready or not. We'll just have to wait and see.
Well, whenever I see these as well, I'm always it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where the Dreadwolf will come out, but it's like, what does a BioWare RPG look like after such a long amount of time? Like, none of the people who worked on Dragon Age Origins are still going to be at BioWare, right? None of the
Yeah.
people who made the OG Mass Effect trilogy are still going to be there. At
They're
this
probably
point.
at Larian working on Baldur's Gate.
They've probably gone to Larian, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it's like you say, like the knee jerk, like Blunt said, the knee jerk reaction to Baldur's Gate, where it's like, oh shit, Baldur's Gate's doing well. We need to get Dragon Age Dreadwolf out ASAP. So they get it out, and it's just nothing like Baldur's Gate. So it's like, why did you even bother to like rush it? It's like an action RPG. That's I don't know, man. We'll see. I have memories similar to Blunt of just being younger and playing Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2, and they were just like the best games ever. I didn't have a PC growing up. I didn't play, you know, Knights of the Old Republic and all these other CRPGs. I wasn't exposed to those games.
Yeah, I genuinely have. I remember like 10 years ago now, I was like convinced by other people to try KOTOR, and I was like, nah, can't do it. I just can't play this. It's just not my. It's not my style of game. And that, like, don't get me wrong. I believe the general consensus that KOTOR is one of those like top, like, pantheon of sacred CRPGs. It's like the pinnacle of like storytelling and everything. Like, I don't disagree with that. I just played like a few hours and I was like, this is not for me. And that's kind of why I've never touched CRPGs. And I'm like, I just can't get into them.
I had the same with Chrono Trigger. As someone that's played Final Fantasy all throughout childhood, love RPGs, but never played Chrono Trigger. And then like during uni and stuff, it's like, oh, they've just brought it out on the DS and it was some remaster or something, but like it's still just Chrono Trigger again, and that style doesn't matter how much they do to it, it's still dated, and I just can't play it.
Yeah,
and like I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just it's unplayable. You can't.
There's a certain amount of like quality of life things they can take away, just for it being of its time, and like it reaches a certain point where I'm like, yeah, I just can't, I can't, man. I tried to play Fallout 2, I think, with Aaron a while back, and I was like, I just cannot, man. I just cannot do it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna go outside, and then it's like, oh, I'm just gonna attack this thing, and it's like, you miss. You miss.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I just won't play then. Fine, all right.
I remember like quick loading the tutorial fight like 9 times in a row because I rolled nat ones over and over again. Yeah.
I went back and played Mass Effect 1. I think like 5 or 6 years ago. I played the PC version, and this was before all the remasters and everything. And even back then, that game the original is horrible to play. Yeah. It's got like the worst cover system, I think.
Yeah,
in almost
that one
any
was
game.
that one was like you had to put. It wasn't you could pick up a gun and use it. It's like you had to put stats into like assault rifles or pistols, and if you didn't, your aiming reticule was like the size of the monitor. Yeah,
God, like going to that from playing games where it's just obviously like intuitively like, oh, you can pretty much use anything. Yeah, and I was like, well, okay, I'll just like. It kind of eventually it naturally fell into place and made sense where I was like, well, I only use shotguns and pistols, so let's do that, and then someone else can use, I don't know, like snipers and assault rifle, etc. Like we eventually got there, but like instinctively at the start of the game I was like, what do you mean I don't know how to use a shotgun? Like how dense is my character genuinely? How is this I get that that's like the style of tabletop RPGs and stuff, but it's like, but just like let me. How much of this? It's like the Fallouts, like the Bethesda Fallouts, like 3 onwards, where it's like VATS is technically the tabletop style.
Yeah,
like
I was going to say,
chance to hit. It's like, yeah, but if I just aim with my mouse and click, I'm going to hit him. So it doesn't.
It's funny.
What is this system?
It's funny when companies started making like RPG / shooters like Fallout and Mass Effect. They always lent really hard on the RPG side for everything, and then you can see them almost like over the course of like a game be like, oh fuck no, these need to be shooters first, and then the RPG stuff will be like supplementary to putting the crosshair on someone's head and pulling the trigger. That needs to be like that's the main thing that needs to work.
And now it's like, I know Starfield obviously isn't Fallout, so there's no reason for it to have VATS, but because it's closer to something like Fallout than Skyrim, I've seen, not recently, but a while back when they were first showing off Starfield, like, is this going to have VATS or a VATS-like system? It's like, no. It's just shoot. Just shoot them. Yeah, just shoot the dudes.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of like, I said I wasn't going to go in for it, but like, no, I didn't say I wasn't going to go in for it, but I just kind of was like, I don't think I care about Starfield. Like I've done this before. I've got my Pip-Boy is still downstairs in the garage.
No,
I've fallen for the Bethesda meme before, and I'm like, yes, boys, this is the one. And I played Fallout 4, and just like you could like, I looked like Coraline's dad in that one picture. I was like, oh fucking hell, they got me again, Todd. You bloody did it again. So like I am so skeptical, but it like the fact that it's not it is kind of it's a shooter first.
Yeah.
I am like, this might be the one.
I saw a news article literally a couple of days ago. It was a news article. I can't remember where it's from, but the title was literally something like, Starfield is Bethesda's least buggiest launch ever, and I think I had a physical reaction out loud of just fuck off. Like, I do not believe you.
How funny is that a company that's valued so highly, that got bought by Microsoft outright, has to put out press releases being like,
that's the
this
news
one's
story.
our least buggy one.
Yeah.
Like, what is
and
that?
that's newsworthy. Yeah.
How have we got here?
Not just
That
newsworthy,
is
that's
what
praiseworthy.
You're bragging about.
Yeah.
There's all the comments to that. People are like, oh, hell yeah, good job.
Bravo, Bethesda, finally listening to the players. It's like, just don't fucking release it. Like, what are you doing?
I think I wasn't excited for Starfield until I think it was you, Josh, the other day that was like, we might be about to get like the next Skyrim. And I was like, oh, fuck, we might be about to get the next Skyrim. Like the game we're going to talk about for the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's not just the next Skyrim, it's an original IP, right? That's literally unheard of for Bethesda since they gained the license to Fallout 3, right? Did anything else unique since? Like, is this it?
Not in-house, I don't think.
Not in-house.
No.
Because Fallout 1 and 2 weren't Bethesda. I can't remember who made them, but they weren't Bethesda.
Obsidian, weren't they?
Obsidian, yeah. So yeah, it's just like, here's them, original IP, big launch. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's excited. It is exciting times. Whether it's good or not, I think it's good to be at least excited. I'm curious.
I really, really want it to go well. I
Absolutely, yeah.
No one who's hearing this is a Bethesda employee. I mean, maybe. Who can say? Todd, if you're hearing this, best of luck. Honestly, I want this to. You guys deserve a win because, like, I feel really bad in general for Bethesda because they were like bought out and everyone was like, "Oh hell yeah!" Like. Now we're gonna, and then they were like, "All right, guys, it's Redfall," and everyone was like, "Oh, okay." It's like one of those shitty boomer memes of like the woman at her wedding day, and she's like hugging her husband, and there's a thought bubble. She's like, "Now I can get fat," like that. Bethesda got bought out, and they were like, "Now we can stop trying." Like, I really hope Starfield smashes it because, like. I am a little bit worried seeing stuff like they're like, oh, we brought back the adoring fan from Oblivion. I'm like, okay, why are you pandering to me, the last surviving Oblivion Chad, who's like the best Bethesda game is Oblivion? Like, why are you marketing to me? Just make the game better and I'll be all right. I don't know why this is
stuff like when they pull out stuff like like you said, like adoring fan. That feels like the like in case of emergency. Break glass.
That's my worry. I'm like, why is that a headline?
They really want me, don't they? Yeah.
Adoring fan is the equivalent of the Final Fantasy VII remake.
It literally is. It is.
That is the in case of emergency deploy Sephiroth. Like, they're like, how the fuck do we sell another Kingdom Hearts game? And they're like, can we put Sephiroth in this one?
Final Fantasy characters in. That's how.
Yeah. They looked at the sales or like pre-orders for Kingdom Hearts 3. And we're like, this is doing well enough. We don't have to break the glass yet for Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts. Maybe the next one, Sam, you'll get your characters back. The break glass. Oh, let's move on to some other stories. There's one. This is more like a PSA, I guess. Microsoft have completely removed the £1 Game Pass trial, which is very sad. I think at least me and Will, not sure if you did, Sam, I'm not sure if you did, Blunt. I lived off of this £1 trial for like 2 years, I think.
They kind of caught me. They got me with they got one of those like bait cars. They were like, hey, we want to offer you a stream redemption where we're going to give you 3 months of Game Pass and all you need to do is stream some Game Pass games and then, extol the virtues of Game Pass on stream. And I was like, well, I love Game Pass. This is an absolutely obvious deal. And then the moment I took that, they were like, we got him. He's fallen for it. That's it. Remove.
Got another one.
He has bought. Remove the deal. And like, I can't now go back. They're like, they're like, oh, actually, you've already redeemed. And I was like, they got me.
Son of a bitch.
Todd. So that's how they got me. So they've tricked me. So now I can't. I wasn't able to capitalize on that deal any further. But I think I've got it as part of my gold upgrade.
Yeah. So that was one of the things I was going to say with this, which is the current trick, which is to kind of convert Xbox Live Gold into Game Pass Ultimate, is probably going to end either on the release of Starfield or on the 14th, which I think is when Xbox Live Gold turns into Game Pass Core, which is like a new thing they're doing. But yeah, I did this literally yesterday. I got a bunch of Xbox Live keys that I bought online. I think it cost me about 80 quid total, but I now have Game Pass for like 2 years and 2 months or something.
80 quid, but what currency did you spend? Did you spend like Eritrean
Yeah,
currency? This
Zimbabwe dollar conversion.
Mr. Worldwide, just like hopping across VPNs, being like, yes, I am in a Taiwanese e-cafe. I'm really interested in Game Pass.
7 VPNs deep at this point. You can't even catch me.
Good luck, kid. I'm behind 14 VPNs. You'll never catch me, Todd.
Some guy working at Microsoft's like, someone's doing it again, and then I just blow up his computer, just through all my VPNs. You can't catch me.
Phil Spencer's office, a red phone rings, and he's got like your face on a pinboard behind him, and he picks the phone up, and they're like, "It's him again, sir."
My life of Game Pass.
Find that son of a bitch.
It's just that movie, Catch Me If You Can. It's just that people try to chase me down.
Josh in a hotel with a briefcase full of Xbox Live cards.
You'll never take me alive.
Hey kid, you want to try out Starfield for £1?
Oh shit, I've got to run. Todd's outside.
I'd love to see the internal like memo or email or whatever preceded this by just like, I can just imagine some high up at Microsoft just like, if I see a single person playing Starfield for £1, I'm gonna fire everyone in this company. Like, you literally cannot let people play Starfield for £1. You absolute psychopaths.
Well, it's nothing to do with Microsoft. It's purely Todd Howard getting mad and just like pushing it onto Microsoft, being like, you cannot let them play Starfield for £1.
No one's playing my game for £1. Yeah.
Everyone's already only spending £1 to play Fallout 76. You can't do this to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. If I can look down in Starfield and the frame rate makes my character move faster, you deserve it, Todd.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to apologize.
But yeah, with the Game Pass Xbox Live transfer kind of thing, you can't do it if you have an active subscription. So if you currently have Game Pass Ultimate, you can't do it, which is kind of a funny story. I had to jump through some hoops to get mine working. I looked at my thing. I redeemed a month of Xbox Game Pass. I wanted to play Starfield and everything, and that was about mid-August. And then I started reading about how this whole transfer thing is probably going to go. I thought, I should get on that and finally do it. And my Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, inconveniently, was going to run out on the 14th of September. So day for day, I would have missed this trick. So I went through Microsoft Live Chat online, and eventually had someone call me, and I spoke to this. I spoke to this lovely lady at Microsoft, and I said, "Look, my Xbox Ultimate is on non-renewal. It's not going to renew, but it ends on the 14th. I need it to stop today, if possible." And she's and she goes, "Oh, okay, yeah. So we'll turn off the auto renewal for you, so it won't carry on. You won't get charged." And I was like, "No. I've already done that. You're being very helpful. I've already done that. But I just need it to just stop today. I didn't want to tell this person. I know I don't care, but I didn't want to tell this person that I'm trying to stop it so that I can get some hack to get like cheap Game Pass." She probably knows anyway, but I didn't want to say it out loud. So she's like, "Oh, okay. So you want me to refund your current Game Pass Ultimate?" I was like, no, there's nothing to refund because I already used a shady key to get the 1 month I currently have. So I know this sounds really weird.
Would you like your 14 pesos back, sir?
So I know this sounds really weird, and I gain, from your perspective, nothing from this. But I need you to please just cancel my Xbox. And she was like, yeah, okay. And then she left for like 15 minutes, came back and said, "Yeah, we've removed all your Xbox. You can't play anymore." She sounded almost like confused. I was like, "Thank you very much. You've been very helpful."
What the fuck? Bro, you have a job. Just pay for Game Pass. Jesus Christ.
This man is going to the most depraved lengths to not spend money on this game.
Meme at this point.
I had to
Like,
I
God.
had to do it because I wanted just to have the one final one up on Microsoft.
That is the perfect end, isn't it? To your Josh versus Game Pass saga is your
It's like
till 2025.
the catch me if you can, like that moment of Todd looking up and seeing like the door slide shut on you, and you're like, see you in 2025, Todd. And like he's like, no, and like you just get on the plane, and like it's taxiing up the wrong way.
It's me being the jigsaw killer at the end of Saw 1 and closing the door and saying game over.
Yeah,
on Microsoft.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Like as the door's shutting, it's over. Yeah.
It got to certain points as I was doing it where she was like away, and I was just sitting there like in silence waiting to come back. I was like, this is really stupid. but it worked, and I win. That's the
This is really
thing.
dumb. She's gonna figure that out. She's gonna figure it out, and she's gonna come back and be like, hey, you can't have your 17 Eritrean nakfa. I had to tab out to Google that. She's like, you can't have those back. She's like, I'm not giving you your Game Pass back. The authorities have been called. Todd is on his way to your house. He's on his way to your house with a club hammer.
She doesn't even come back. She's like, can you wait while we sort this out for you? I'm like, yeah, sure. As I'm sitting there in silence, police cars just start appearing outside my window.
I thought you were going to say, and then she didn't do it until she made me say, I am trying to
she's like, now, again,
like
why
some dirty kink thing.
I'm not going to turn off your Game Pass until you admit to me you are trying to scam me out of free Game Pass.
I would just be like, look, I have a seriously bad gaming addiction, and I cannot control myself. I need Game Pass taken away right now. It's ruining my life. But then, like I say, I now have Game Pass till end of 2025. So who's really laughing? Really?
I mean, us.
Yeah, that's fine.
That key seller who got like
I got my 80 quid off the keys.
7 V-Bucks out of you, or whatever like bizarre currency you pay for it. Like
I'm trying to think, because you don't really know what you've paid for. Because like obviously Starfield next month, but beyond that, like. What are you hoping this lasts until the next?
Oh, what's
Elder
the
Scrolls
no? What's the head of? Oh, what's the guy's name? Head of Xbox. See his face. Phil Spencer. There was another news story recently. Got my finger on the pulse of the industry. There was another news story recently where he was like, Starfield coming out. This is going to kickstart Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. I'm going all in on that man's statement. For 2 years. I have to now.
So
it's pure
balls in your court, Phil.
Yeah.
You've got to justify this ridiculous process Josh has gone through.
I'll turn up to his house if there's no exclusives for like a year and throw all my expired codes at him and be like, I trusted you!
All your scratched off cards.
Yeah.
You were the chosen one. You were supposed to justify my 4 hours on hold to a nice lady.
Yeah.
A very confused minimum wage call center employee.
Yeah. It was fun time.
That's really funny.
As soon as I finished it up, I was like, this is such a good anecdote. This is such a funny story. What else do we have? Whilst we're on the topic of Xbox and Starfield and all that good stuff, did you hear about the leaker who leaked, I think it was like 40-50 minutes of Starfield?
I did watch quite a bit of stuff. Like I watched a couple of clips of Starfield stuff that were like circulating on Twitter, and I was like, I don't want to comment on these because these aren't like, because I know that I read somewhere that people have been hands-on with Starfield for a long time.
Yeah.
The gist of it being that like people in the team have been essentially playing a version of Starfield for a long time and are just constantly getting patches. And it's like, so if you just get a copy of this, the copy you're playing could well be like a year old, I think they're saying. It's like, it could genuinely be that long. So that they've been putting out patches, and if you aren't authorized to get those patches, then the version you're playing could be really old. That being said, didn't look amazing.
There was one that was going really viral. You can't find the original tweet anymore. It's all been removed. Of some Starfield gameplay of like a conversation with an NPC. And all the response, it was fishing for these comments basically by posting this clip, but it looked like janky Bethesda
It did have that
RPG.
Oblivion
Yes.
sort of like,
Yeah.
because it zooms in on the face and it does the depth of field, and it is just like the stop right there, criminal scum.
Yeah,
that's the
It's
one
like,
that's
oh
the
my
clip I
god, we're
saw, yeah.
back. We are so back. Oblivion Chads, we are finally home.
So yeah, that guy is facing a 12-year prison sentence, or up to 12 years.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Is that the guy? Is that the
wasn't
guy who
the-
leaked gameplay, or wasn't there a guy who was like selling early copies? Or
This is the
something?
guys who
This
selling
is the guy.
copies.
Yeah, it's the guy.
Right,
Sorry,
okay.
yeah, I should have been specific. Yeah, this is the guy that was selling copies.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
because I was like, I shared that picture of leaked footage. I gotta go scrub all my hard drives now after this. There you go. I ain't going down for Todd.
Will furiously rubbing magnets down the side of his PC. He's like, sorry guys, video's going to be a little bit late. Sticking
Another
a fake
thing-
moustache on with one hand and magneting his hard drive with the other.
Another thing about Starfield, I posted in our little podcast chat about this, but one of our friends, one of the groups he's in, they did a meme competition, and they were like, the best Starfield memes win a copy of Starfield, like whatever the big edition is. So I
Yeah.
posted, hey, can anyone bang out a quick Starfield meme?
Oh, is
Like,
that what you were
Steve-
fishing for there? You kept that bit quiet.
I was like, look, someone might just make a really shit meme, and I'm like, if it takes them 5 minutes, they don't
That's
need to
5
know.
minutes you didn't. That's 5 minutes you
They
didn't
don't
spend.
need to
so,
know,
there you
yeah.
go.
And Steve was like trying to be really helpful, and I then felt really bad.
just like,
But, like,
Oh, no.
next week's
we then later
podcast.
found
Sam's
out-
like, I've been playing the early access version of Starfield. Like, hang on, what the fuck?
We then our friend turns around and goes, yeah, they gave out 10 copies, which was worth like 850 quid, and it was just one guy bought 10 copies to do a giveaway
Yeah.
in their like small community
What?
that we call a cult. And I was just there,
Why?
just like, that's bonkers. And he was like,
Bro, there are easier way to get Starfield memes. Have you heard of Twitter?
Just go steal something.
Sorry, X.
Just type Starfield in the search bar and then just start screenshotting.
yeah,
don't even-
yeah,
I
holy
was
shit.
just gonna go on
yeah.
Chat GPT and just ask for the dankest Starfield meme it can generate for me and just use that.
That was like that there's like a bigger story there. That guy was like off to have like his like cousin's fiance or something is Todd's husband, Todd's
Yeah.
son or something, and he's like, I'm going for a dinner with Todd. I need some excellent memes to impress him so I can get in his good books.
but yeah, that happened.
Yeah, there is more to this story, which is why he's facing 12 years. But I just like the headline of it makes it sound like specifically because he was selling Starfield copies early, he gets 12 years.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like he stole them and he was selling them, and he was also selling like weed.
Yeah,
He was also like a weed dealer. He was like, hey, I know you came here for weed, but are you interested in Starfield?
God, can you imagine what a fucking great afternoon that would be like to show up to your dealer and walking away just
And he's
just yeah.
You excited for Starfield? And he just like slides a copy across the table
like
to you.
a
You're like,
stack of them in a
holy
cabinet.
shit! Yeah, all right, yeah, go on, man.
I do feel like the Venn diagram of Starfield players and dope smokers is a perfect circle.
100%. 100%. That guy knew his audience. Yeah.
People who have got loads of time on their hands and love flying around in spaceships. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of person you need to market.
Oh, there's like how many? There's like 10 people down in wherever he was, Tennessee, who are just having the best time this week, aren't they?
They're just like, oh,
God,
my drug dealer's just been arrested. Fucking crazy. Going back to smoking dope and playing Starfield.
Yeah. Anyway.
Moving on, yeah. So that was that one. We're getting short for time. I'll blast through this like few very quickly. There was, God, every time I do that, I go from like a black page to a white page. It's like getting flashbanged. Sony's handheld. We spoke about this before. This is Sony's like cloud gaming controller / screen. It's been revealed now. It's called. What's it called? PlayStation Portal. It's like it's purely remote play. So there's no calculations or processing, I should say, done on the device itself. It just streams the footage via Wi-Fi basically to this controller. It's $199, and it's already getting a bit of shit from just tech reviewers. The biggest issue with it that everyone I keep seeing is it doesn't have any Bluetooth. It only has its own like internal thing. So you can use wired headphones, but if you want to use wireless headphones, you can only use proprietary Sony headphones and
They
earbuds.
always get you with that,
It's
don't they?
so dirty. It's so gross. It's like imagine buying like an iPhone and it only uses AirPods because it has no Bluetooth. Which could happen. I wouldn't be surprised. but
Or imagine buying a PSP and then having to fork out another 40 quid for a memory card.
Yeah, who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
so.
Yeah.
This is just for, and you can only stream from a PS5.
PS5.
You have,
which has to be turned on, actively connected to an internet point to then stream that to
Sony, mate. There's a cost of living crisis going on. Like, I can't leave my PS5 on just in case I want to play somewhere else which has a decent enough internet connection to stream it to this handheld.
Yeah, it's
that's
like, who is this for?
That's
who
my
is
biggest
this for?
takeaway is who. Yeah, yeah. The like the subset of people who saw this and got super hyped must be like in the tens.
What if it's just made out of
Generous.
like you're saying like who is it for? Maybe the cost of creating it is so low. Maybe it's made out of broken DualShock controllers that have just been refurbished with the screen in the middle.
Broken DualShock like iPads they had lying around. Yeah.
Manufacturers' rejects, the ones that didn't make it through. They're like, okay, we'll take each half of a broken controller and then we just put like an old Sony like Xperia phone screen in the middle.
Yeah.
And boom, that's it.
Sorted. But yeah, it's
like someone at Sony went, remember the Wii U? Wasn't that great and sold a million? Wasn't it like one of the best things they ever made? Let's make one of those.
I can't be bothered to
genuinely
Google
only ever done that.
if the Wii U was good or not. So yeah, let's just make it. Fuck it.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Like I used the Wii U in that way, like the way of being like, oh, well, you don't have to have the TV on. Like I did that, I think twice, and I think once I vividly remember having not Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, having that on the Wii U, and then I was in a studio apartment, and so I was playing in the living room, and I was like, I'm gonna go pee. And I just switched it to the gamepad and I played it. I played it on the toilet and I was like, this isn't great because it's like through the connection through the wall was a bit spotty. So like occasionally my controls just wouldn't register. And I was like, how have we come this far with technology? And just like, this is as far as we've got, really? Like,
yeah.
Well, that's like for that sort of that user case as well. It's just like if I'm on the loo or whatever, and I was going to like play a device or whatever, you'd play something on your phone or you'd watch like a 2-minute YouTube video or something. Yeah, I'm not going to sit down and whip out fucking Horizon Forbidden West and start.
Yeah, like PS5, like Sony games are all fucking cinematic 40-hour story. I'm going to have pins and needles that will last me decades if I sit down and I play through like a chapter of Uncharted on the toilet. It's like, what is this for?
Me having the most cinematic experience of Armored Core 6 whilst sitting on the toilet is just it's a weird scenario I didn't think I'd find myself in, but here I am. Yeah, bizarre. But this is a real thing.
How much does this cost?
$199.
Okay, well that's not insane, but also
you can get a Switch for close to that price though.
Yeah.
Why would you? But yeah.
Or I'd rather if I had to like gun to your head, like I'd take a Switch over this.
Do you get this or a Switch?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Gun to your head.
A PS5.
What weird situation are you in? You have to pick between a Switch and a PS Now or whatever.
I understand the Switch is the better of the two, but that's like such a low bar that it's like you just ignore both at this point.
Sam's out for blood tonight, man.
I have not got my money out of this Switch.
Haven't you?
I just keep thinking back to the DS and even the 3DS was okay, but like the DS and the DS Lite were bangers.
My Switch is just a Binding of Isaac and Slay the Spire machine.
I got Pikmin
Like-
4 out of it. I am perfectly content.
Oh, true. Yeah, I need to play. I have never played a Pikmin game, so I need to try them out. I've heard that 4's the best one to go with.
4 is fucking awesome. I highly recommend.
And like I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't buy a Switch for this.
Yeah.
Because like, like I don't know. It's too late in the show to go on my Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
I
We might
tried.
have to get you back for a Tears of the Kingdom rant. Yeah, holy shit.
I haven't finished it yet. I've almost done all the depths, and I've done all of the temples. I just need to do the castle, and then I'll have an opinion.
I'll bring you back on for it.
But
Don't worry.
I am stunned that Sony has got to this point, and I like the first rule with something like this is you do test groups. Who are they? Where are they getting people for these test groups that are like 200 quid for this? Yeah. Banner. Like what? Where are you picking these?
It feels
people
like
up?
to me where they're like, well, we don't want to invest in a new handheld because we don't want to set up the infrastructure and have unique games and stuff. But the Switch is popular, so we've got to have something. It's like, no, you actually don't. Like, just have the PS5. Like, PS Vita was so long ago, it wasn't as popular as the PSP, and you moved on. Everyone else moved on,
You
and
know
now you got
what?
this weird thing.
I would pay top dollar. I'd pay 200 quid for a handheld that looked like that was like every PS1 and every PS2 game.
Yeah, that if this had like some kind of like local offline functionality where it could play old indie games
that's
or
just a PS,
PS
Vita,
games
though.
or whatever.
That's like
fair.
Like everyone I know who like a friend of mine was like, I bought a PS Vita like last year. Was like, I bought a PS Vita. I was like, what the fuck? Why? What? Wait, what year is it? Where am I? Hang on. I thought this was like I'd like accidentally woken up in a temporal loop, and he was like, no, I bought it because you can just like put every old PS game on it, and he just did. He was like playing Dino Crisis in bed. He was like, this is fucking sick. I was like,
dig my PS Vita
God
out.
damn, like
That's a good way to use it.
why are we not funding this? Like, why does no games company want like just play old games you remember in bed? Like the closest we've got is the Switch, and that is like the worst possible option for that.
It's the same thing with Nintendo though, where it's like they have their retro game service, and they have such a massive back catalogue that they could just dump onto their service, but instead there's hardly any games on it, and every month they're like, here's a new version of Puyo Puyo Pop for you. It's like, oh, for God's sake, where's all the good stuff?
If someone was like, name an N64 game you would want to play, like obviously GoldenEye, and they got there, but like, who the fuck said win back? Who said win back Operation Renegade? Like top of the list. They were like, that's gotta be in there. That is one intern in the office was like,
that was one
guys,
win back fan. Yeah,
I got to make sure we put it win back in there. I'm so sorry.
I imagine it's just games that have completely nothing tied to them, right? Like if we put Banjo-Kazooie on it or something, we got to talk to someone at Microsoft. What can we just dump onto our Nintendo games thing?
But like
some
the month
obscure
it
NES
starts,
game.
you really shouldn't be saying the phrase "What can we dump?" Like that's not how you start that whole like justifying this paid subscription service thing by being like, I don't know, what can we fucking
What can we dump?
find some shit in the back of the cupboard? Surely we got something.
Yeah,
in
who
here.
cares?
Does anyone still play Turok? Let's just go. Fuck it. I don't know.
Everyone plays. The Turok 3 is getting a remake.
Oh my god. Yes, they are. Night Dive absolutely smashing it.
Yeah. I think we're the only two people here that appreciate that though, so
That's fine.
that's yeah.
I played Turok. I remember
the-
Cerebral Bore.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Did you all play the Xbox 360 launch title version of Turok, where you could pin people?
feel like I
to the wall with
did,
the
and
compound bow?
I'm pretty sure I did, and I've like wiped it from my memory.
Is that the weird
bet I
like
have-
remake one?
Good answer. Yeah. The weird remake.
Yeah,
Where you could
I bet I
like
have
dual wield
achievements
guns
in that game.
You could dual wield guns.
Yeah, Turok looked like Soap McTavish from Modern Warfare. He had like the short mohawk.
yeah.
Oh,
he's
what the
right.
and you did
burning to my
you
memory.
did kill moves on dinosaurs. You got like really cool little
Yeah, like
almost like Dead by
glory
Daylight
kills from
Mauries.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like a
The Night Dive dev, when they announced Turok, like someone in the comments was like, "What about the darkness?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's on the list. On the list of ones to remake."
Yeah.
just out of nowhere, just like Shadow
I saw
announces that
that.
they're like, yeah, we're going to do the original The Darkness as well. And it's like, that game absolutely smacked. Like, holy shit. That, like, how does Night Dive get away with this? That they're just like, yeah, we're just going to bring back like the best games. And just no one seems to care or mind if we do these. We're just secretly just sneaking out bangers.
Who's sitting on The Darkness of all things? It's probably just
2K.
Oh, are they?
If I have to guess, it's 2K.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
The Darkness 2 is still really accessible and really good.
I remember having The Darkness 1
That's
on
Steam,
PS3.
yeah.
And it ran like shit, but I still really liked it.
Understandable, it's absolute bop.
It was a blurry 720p mess on PS3 that ran at like 20 FPS, I think. But I loved it.
Somehow a game about like shadows still managed to have the piss filter on it. That all
Yeah.
PS3 like why? How are we still...
Right, let's push this along. Let's do some upcoming releases, and then we'll go from there, really. There's next week, if you're buying it, you've got Starfield. Because the digital... It's not even the base version. I think the premium editions come with 5 days early access.
Yeah, on Friday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 1st of September. So I think it might not be tons of people. I don't know. People will buy it, obviously. There'll be people playing it. But no one I know personally has gone specifically for early access. Don't know if you know anybody.
Bethesda, if you're out there, send me a key. There's still time. 2 days. I might even be able to download it all in that time.
You absolutely can't. We both know you can't. It's like 140 gig.
I was going to say, City Fiber are good, but they're not that good. Like, the amount of work they've done isn't enough. I'm sorry.
You've also got... This is tomorrow, actually. It's not a game release, but if you're into it, on the topic of Nintendo hate, you've got a direct for Super Mario Wonder. I'm kind of excited for this. I like my 2D Mario platformers. So this is, by tomorrow, I mean yesterday. If you're listening to this on Friday, it'll already be out.
I thought it was good, fine, bad.
Yeah.
You can edit that as appropriate. Yeah. Just crop whichever one it was.
And the last release, which again isn't really relevant, but it is a big release for some people, is the console version of Baldur's Gate. Because that's been PC only. For what,
Yeah.
like
on PS5.
Yeah, it's been like a month.
For not
now.
very long, to be fair. Yeah.
About a month. Which is interesting. It's been out for a month, and people are only just starting to finish it, at least in the circle of people that I know. Big ass game.
I
Big
think,
ass game, yeah.
yeah, I think it's that, and because it's a story game, we're all just really taking our time to enjoy it.
Yeah, you don't want to rush through it, do you? Because I find if I rush through big story stuff, I just end up forgetting like 80% of it. But
on the subject of PlayStation Store, there is one thing I don't know if it's been on your radar, but the Silent Hill 2 store page has gone from to be announced to coming soon.
Okay.
Oh, there's movement.
So something has changed, and I don't know whether that's going to be like this Christmas or it's going to be like next year. I don't know when it's coming out, but those chickens are up to something.
They're doing
something has moved.
I'm really looking forward to that. Whenever that does,
I'm watching it like a hawk in like the most, like through my fingers. I can't look away. Like I have to. I can't stop watching it because I'm like, oh, this could be, Silent Hill 2 probably my favorite game ever. Like that, it's top 3 for sure.
Yeah. Or if the remake is good or bad, it will certainly be something when it comes out, which is good. More people talk about Silent Hill is always good. Just keep that, that franchise alive. It felt like Silent Hill was dead at some point, and now it's kind of like it's got movement again.
Had a rough patch.
Yeah.
So
Konami just decided to stop doing things for like 5 years, maybe even more.
True. And
now they've worked out they're sitting on multi-million-dollar IPs and doing nothing with them. But yeah, that's literally all that's coming out. The coming week. There is more stuff, obviously, but it's always like a million indie games that right now don't look great, but will probably be the best thing in the world when they do come out, and I'll look like a fucking idiot, as always happens with these small indie games. You had just one last little thing. It did come out. You had Sea of Stars just come out, I think, a couple of days ago from us recording now. That's supposed to just be amazing. which just really just really unfortunately placed. I find.
Yeah, I saw it post. I saw a post that was doing the round from their Twitter that said, I can't remember the number off the top of my head. I think it was 600,000 players on day. That can't be right. I think it was 60.
No, I think what I saw was it sold 100,000 copies.
So that might have been it.
Yeah,
yeah, like 100,000 people on day one for like a game that I had never heard of until people were like, "Oh, I'm playing that."
Yeah,
it's like what? Oh my god! So yeah, this is kind of just crept up out of nowhere.
It got a big push, I think, when people were looking at it and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's like a cool little indie Chrono Trigger-ish RPG coming out." And then on launch day, it had like 30, 40 reviews from main, review sites with an average score of like 90 something. People being like, "This shit is awesome," and then it just word of mouth just does really well. It's on Game Pass as well, so it's sold 100,000, but there'll be a bunch of players on Game Pass as well. I want to check that out at some point. It won't be soon because of everything else, but just thought I'd throw it out there because in case anyone's looking for that sort of thing, it's apparently really good. So
yeah, if you like Chrono Trigger, I feel like
that
like at the moment I saw it, I was like, oh, this is like a Chrono Trigger? Cool. I mean, I haven't seen one of those in a while. Sound like my nan. Are you playing a Chrono Trigger?
Playing one of them.
Yes, man. It's a Chrono Trigger. Is that the one where you capture the animals in the ball? Yeah, Nan, that's what that is.
Back to bed,
whatever.
Let's get you back to bed. Right, let's wrap this up and get out of here. Thank you for listening, everybody. Myself, Will, and Sam have absolutely no socials, so I'm going to give the platform to Blunt. He's been absolutely wonderful. Where can we find you, Blunt?
I'm on Twitter X at _Bluntcast. That's my personal account. I'll occasionally cross-post work stuff. I am on Twitch at twitch.tv/Bluntcast. And I'm on YouTube at Bluntcast. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I got my handle.
Yeah.
At Bluntcast. Thank you.
There you go.
Good lord. Professional. I don't know what my handle is. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Just type into
Welcome
Google.
to the group, lad. Welcome to the group.
That's like
part of the fun.
Sam's social every week is, you'll find me. It's been that for about 60 weeks.
Three, I'll be in your recommended sidebar soon enough. And, that's close enough for me. That's way. But yeah,
thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been really fun.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
All right, let's wrap this up and say goodbye then. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.